top of the world, and I'm never coming down. You can't touch the sky, no, or with your feet stuck to the ground. And as I'm taking flight, I cheat the afterlife. I'm gonna live forever, 'cause a legend never dies. Give me faith, give me glory. See the world, be glory. Hear my name and hear my story. So give me faith, give me faith, give me glory. See the world, be glory. Hear my name and hear my story. So give me faith and give me glory.
The time has come. $1 million is almost within reach, and the Brawl Stars Championship belt hangs in the balance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Brawl Stars World Finals, and welcome to Super Sunday! My name is Barney Banks, and I am your host. And today, nerves will be rattled, patience will be tested, and only the strongest will emerge victorious. So, without any further delay, I'm going to hand you over to our casters. In the booth, it's Uber and Trav.
My condolences to those of you who weren't able to get seats, but don't worry, we're all going to be on our feet in just a moment. Welcome, everybody, back to Superfest here. I'm Mitch Leslie, joined by the one and only Trav Talks. We started with 12 teams, whittled them down to 8, and now the final 4 remain.
The first 2 days of the Brawl Stars World Finals have been absolutely electric. Such phenomenal gameplay, and I'm sure that's going to continue into day 3 as we try to crown a champion.
Now, let's get reoriented a little bit here, of course, and remind you of all of not only what's on the line, but how this all works. We started with 12 teams, 4 groups of 3. That whittled down to 8 in our quarterfinals. And so today, from EMEA, SK Gaming, Humble, Reply Totem have advanced alongside Crazy Raccoon, who got over NA's #1 seed to make it here to the semi-finals. These folks are all best of 5 matches. We'll have 3 of them for your viewing pleasure. And of course, we'll be fighting for the lion's share of $1 million, with our champions taking $400,000 out of the arena today. That is a lot to play for, and it's been a long year for many of these teams, having to fight through a circuit in their home regions before making it here. And even in the case of Reply Totem, having to qualify through the last chance qualifier at Gamescom to be here, their road's been the longest.
Yeah, it's crazy to think how kind of, I'm going to say abysmal their season was, and how well they're playing now, made it all the way to the semi-finals and day 3 of the World Finals as well. It's a huge, huge accomplishment considering how tough and how long their year's been.
Now, before we get into the games, I'm sure many of your predictions are up in the air and you've struggled to make your decisions. I know I have. This is where we stand so far. Myself and Kenny are with SK Gaming for this first matchup, up against their local rivals, Humble, who looked incredible. And then we all seem to feel like Crazy Raccoon will be able to overcome LCQ qualifying team Reply Totem and make it to the grand finals. But I'll be honest, I might be an SK fanboy, but I'm not confident at all. Both these games could go either way. So make sure you've got your predictions in at event.brawlstars.com. Viewership rewards are popping off today. There is a hypercharge up for grabs. So get your votes in, get involved in the trivia questions, and join us over there, as this is bound to be an incredible show indeed. For those that are just joining us, or those who want a refresher, we've got one for you. Let's have a look back on how day 2 transpired.
I'm on top of the world, and I'm never coming down. You can't
Welcome to day 2 of the Brawl Stars World Finals. Just 8 remain. Today, all of our matches are best of 5s. It is going to be an absolutely phenomenal day of Brawl Stars esports, I can assure you. Zeta Division, SK Gaming.
Here comes another big super. It's massive.
It's now the time. SK Gaming. If you want to seize the crown, you have to dethrone the kings.
Pioneers, Humble.
No kills coming in from Pioneers. Humble one set away from the semi-finals.
The HP is not going to be there. It doesn't connect, and the shield is perfect from Luki. And Humble proceed to the semi-finals.
Elevate. Their opponent, a previous world champions, Crazy Raccoon.
Elevate lose their gems, and Crazy Raccoon will return to a world semi-finals to claim what was once theirs.
Rival Esports. Reply Totem.
Pushing his way forward, but getting tapped up big time by a chaos. Shu still stays standing.
And Totem go up.
The roof is falling off this arena.
Gas comes in, shots being hit, Melty goes down, and Reply Totem go on.
Our semi-finalists are now locked in for tomorrow, our final day. Tomorrow, we will be crowning our champion, and one team will get to lift that Brawl Stars Championship belt. Welcome back to the main stage, and as you can tell, it is a full house here, so let's give them a little test. Superfest, are you ready for your first semi-final? Mediocre at best, it's all right, we'll get there, don't worry about it. But you know what? The battlefield waits for no one. We are not messing around here today, so it is time to introduce your first 2 semi-finalists to the main stage. It is Semantic, Luki, and Boss. They are Humble. Their opponents come into this match oozing with confidence. With the crowd behind them, it's Joker, Yoshi, and Lenan. They are SK Gaming!
What a way to kick off our final day of matches with a true blue regional rivalry. That's right. It was SK Gaming that burst onto the scene in the first monthly final of the year, taking Humble down in a 3-0 to claim it. But since then, the moments of glory for SK have been few and far between, and Humble have become the hot favourites in Europe.
Humble's games this year have just been so good. They've just been so consistent all the way throughout this year, getting multiple second places, even a win under the belt, and only going out in the first round once. Semantic, though, the main man for this roster, the loudmouth in the middle of the stage. What a player he is. And I think he thrives under that pressure that little bit more.
He's fighting a demon today, a demon that has ravaged his past. Semantic went up against SK Gaming last year under Foot Esports, his old team, and he came up short. He fell, of course, with that entire Foot Esports roster. What a storyline that was. Now he's going to try it again on Humble, and he has never looked better. But here's SK Gaming, and this fan base has been waiting a long time for glory.
Yeah, Joker, Yoshi, and Lenane, what a team they are. Yoshi, 8-2-5, has been one of the more consistent players on this roster. I feel like him and Lenane have been the standouts so far. Joker kind of being the glue that sticks the roster together through their World Finals run so far. It kind of seems to me like a few nerves are there, and I feel like they really need to be ironed out if they want to be able to overcome this massive opponent in Humble.
Yoshi gets the tough jobs. He's playing Sprout on Knockout. He's playing the Gale against the Kenji on Brawl Ball. Whatever it takes, this guy has been the role player, the rock for SK Gaming, and they're going to be relying on him today for that consistency that SK Gaming have often struggled to grasp at, right? They've got Lenar and Joker, two incredible individuals who can, on their day, be the very best in the world, but when things go quiet for them, It's a scary thing. SK Gaming had a very slow start in their quarterfinal yesterday. The most lackluster knockout I've ever seen from them. They've got to come out hot here, Krav.
I mean, after defeating Date Division, I don't think their spirits will have ever been higher, taking down the world champions of 2023, heading on into day three of the Brawl Stars World Finals, to then be faced by another piece of kryptonite that they've had all year long, and that is Humble, standing between them and the final.
It was Lenar and Semantic last year trying to find success and World Championship together on that Foot Esports team. It was not to be. The team was dissolved and they went their separate ways. What do you think at home? Here come the votes, folks. What a close one. 52% of you feel like SK Gaming at event.brawlstars.com have the edge.
I mean, that surprises me considering the year that Humble have had, but considering all the support, not only here in Helsinki, Finland, but at home as well, that SK Gaming do have, doesn't surprise me that they've edged that home prediction.
We're going to be jumping into the draft in just a moment. SK Gaming, some questionable picks over the last couple of days, but overall their execution with these drafts has been good. Crucially, they've found ways to counter out Kenji, specifically leaving him open as both teams have not gone for that ban. It is safe zone, and what better brawler to open with here than Colette?
Yeah, Colette, with the hypercharge out to 25% of the safe, without it still 10, and the ability to just chain those supers when people are defending it, it's just unparalleled. Regardless, we still see Kenji being brought in by Humble, and that's a tank against a tank counter already, never mind what SK can still add to that as well. Colt being added in as one of their big damage dealers, and that surprises me so early on.
Yeah, absolutely. Colt can be fallible. He's, only about 5.5k health in general. We've seen him go up against the tanky comps and has struggled, but man, he can pressure that safe from a pretty safe distance. He outranges Colette pretty comfortably, and of course that hypercharge makes his super wider and more potent. Daryl picked up here for SK Gaming to get a tank counter and one of the best tanks in the game under their belt.
Yeah, well, I like what they've got so far for the side of SK Gaming, really pinning that Kenji into a corner with these two picks so far. Colette, as I said, so good against tanks. And Daryl, pretty much one of the only decent brawlers against Kenji at the moment. So we'll see what SK Gaming do choose to pick. Feel like they're still really missing that kind of mid-brawler with Bell out the way. We kind of see Piper come in, Nanny come in, but they're going to go with a Gale. No long range for the side of SK Gaming. And that's kind of a bit of an opening, I feel, for Humble.
Absolutely. Yoshi is going to have a tough time laning. There's no other way of putting it here. It's a very defensive pick, but SK have often gone for the Gale to round out their compositions as soon as they start to see a Kenji. This also has to make Humble think twice about trying to find a tank. Might not be possible here, but there's a ton of options. With Angelo off the board, we've seen Lola picked up on occasion here. A very serviceable mid to long range brawler. B comes in. I feel like the first time we've seen her at all here in this World Finals. Fantastic long range sharpshooter that can be pressured pretty heavily up close.
I mean, it's been so long since we've seen her, but lining up against this comp, what a pick that is if you really start to pick it apart. Good against Colette, good against Daryl, good against Gale. He's got a lot of weight on his shoulders, though, Lukey, on this brawler, because he's going to have to do so much to get Boss and Semantic into these positions where they can get damage on the safe and get kills against their counters.
Of course, it's the second shot from B that is the most dangerous, which means Lukey needs to be chaining these hits together. Still, Iron Hive is a super to slow down targets. Honey Molasses also slows targets down. So when Lenar tries to engage, it will be a little bit difficult for the Daryl to get close enough to B to punish her. This is a bit more of a flimsy team for Humble in terms of overall health pool, but their damage is off the charts.
It should be a good start for Humble. The range advantage that they've managed to get through this draft is kind of just unparalleled by anything that SK have on their side. So they've got to take advantage of that off the start whilst Daryl's waiting to get those supers. Once they start chaining in, and obviously with the rework, he's got 2 rolls now instead of 1, so the mobility on this map has just been increased 2-fold, and the ability to kind of roll over the water as well really puts him in a good position on this map.
Worth bearing in mind as well that this Colt can start to blow up the map, crucially. So that Silver Bullet gadget can be used to remove some of the boxes or the walls to give him a better line, or to further expose SK Gaming to the long-range poke that this team has. SK have to commit. They're going to have to go all in. But what better player to put in a difficult position on this Daryl than Lenar? Arguably the best tank player in Europe, maybe even the world. He's made it this far now. SK always look to set him up. They always look to put him in a position to succeed. And we're moments away, folks. The energy already reaching fever pitch. It's time to kick off our first semi-final. SK Gaming versus Humble.
Well, instantly they know where Lenane's going with the launch pad over the right-hand side. Managed to pick one up, but there you see the gadget from B coming in. Rattled Hive gets the kill. Boss managing to add some damage to the safe. Only 3% so far, but not a bad start for Humble.
Semantic slowed up briefly. That is a free time to collect by Joker onto the safe. Yoshi tries to go over the super to shut down Semantic, but it misses. He's dodging everything with those supers. Yet another slashini from Semantic. But SK have that narrow lead early.
Yeah, really good positioning for Lenane though here, and Luki round the back has to use that Rattled Hive once more. Still, just staying back on defense, allowing his teammates to do some work, and they do still have a narrow lead. Boss in a good position to add some more damage to the safe. Eventually pinched in there, but Lenane's going up top and getting kills. Still, pretty even in terms of damage as Semantic cleans Lenane up in the back lines, and Boss in a good position once more.
SK let Semantic have a crack at their safe, Trav, and brought it down to 75%. Boss with a free bullet storm there brings SK's down now to 66. Lena doesn't want to telegraph a launch pad use here. It's going to be another slashing from Semantic, but Joker is still healthy now with a hypercharge available. It's got to be careful. Semantic catches him through the wall. Boss with a hypercharge now, and Yoshi can't face tank it. He has to let the safe get chunked down. Semantic dodges more damage with yet another super. He is such a menace.
A rare mistaken super in there from Lenane as well. Did allow Boss to get some more damage onto it. Now the hypercharge comes through, and that's going to be 25% on safe, closing the gap to about 30. Luki coming back out of spawn. Few more walls broken by Boss, and Semantic having a real tough time once those walls did go down. Lenane rolling on him, but should be done quite swiftly. But Joker gets the super unsafe. Hypercharge comes in from Yoshi. All down to Boss to get the defense, and he's dead too.
Dangerous now. Yoshi and Joker not the best at damaging a safe. And they can't give SK a lead, but Joker should be one shot away from super, which means yet another time to collect, and there it is.
Luki with super in hand as well, might be able to get Joker here.
Great hive.
And a wonderful kill from Boss, slicing through the mid now. Semantic and Luki will be joining him. Boss in a good spot, 75, and it's there. Can't tank it out, and Humble starts strong.
Make the smallest mistake, and Humble are going to punish you for it. Once they sink their teeth in, they will never let go. Just a little too much damage taken there by SK Gaming. One of those later fights gives Humble all the lead they need.
Well, Semantic free roam through the mid here and moving on still. Gadget being used there as well, considered getting out, but he just carries on going in. And this is huge off the start already. Already 50% of the SK safe's gone, and Semantic still lives.
Joker hit nobody with that time to collect. He's not able to cycle supers effectively. Luki doing whatever he has to here just to pelt this safe down. Here's Semantic into the back line yet again, 22% and counting. Humble are going to run away with this one. Another super from Semantic. He's happy with the damage he's got right now. A dash and a slash, 3% on the safe here, and SK Gaming are barely clinging on.
Beaten down. Humble have been all over this. Double slow as well, buying some more time for Humble to get back in. Lenane with a beautiful 1-2 roll to the right-hand side. Now the hypercharge comes in from Joker. It's going to have to be perfect from SK. And Joker falling fairly low, got your gadget used to get him back into the mix. But a lot of work still to be done.
What is Lena doing over here? Can't build a super right now. Has to wait it out. Has it online here. Semantic comes forward, slowed up, of course, by the primary fire of Yoshi, and Boss comes in. He doesn't hit the safe with that hypercharged super, though. Joker falls. Yoshi has to body block all of this damage now. The Colt is a legitimate threat. And eventually, it all comes crumbling down for SK. Humble starts with a set lead.
Some questioned whether Humble had been challenged on the way to the semis. And I think they're here to prove a point against SK Gaming, starting off so strong, and especially in the second game, SK didn't get a look in.
A few problems with this composition for SK. First of all, there's no legitimate answer to the Kenji. There are some options, sure, but when you pick Colette first, Humble are not going to select tanks. Kenji is healthy but not a true tank in nature, and frankly, Gale is not enough to shut him down either. Humble have so much more damage, and the B pick is Giga Brain, because Luki gets to spend all game sitting behind all this threat being attracted by Semantic. He just gets shot after shot on the safe, and Semantic, even with everybody looking at him, still gets to walk up and do things like this. That should be legal. Look at Luki's damage, man.
I mean, that's huge. Almost 500 DPS for Luki on the B. Honestly, upon watching those replays, some pretty abysmal rolls from Lenane there, and they're hard to come by. On a map like Safestone, you have to make use of them. Yes, occasionally he was getting some kills. He managed to get 5, which isn't bad for an assassin on that map. But at the same time, He's the damage dealer. He needs to be in there getting damage on the safe, and a lot of the time, he's just missing the opposition's brawlers.
There's too much open ground to cover on safe zone. Yes, you can make use, of course, of your Gale gadget, use the jump pad, but it's very obvious when you're trying to do that. And if you don't already have a super developed, you can't close the gap effectively at all. 1-0 favouring Humble in this best of 5, and Canal Grande is on the docket next.
Well, Bounty should slow things down a little bit after that heist game. It was quite explosive from Humble, at least. SK still got a lot to prove in the semi-finals. Bans coming in then. We've got the Tick, Kenji, and Daryl from the side of Humble, and the Mo, Angelo, Kenji from the side of SK Gaming. Pretty good bans across the board, getting a lot of those real heavy hitters off the map.
They're very common bans plus a targeted ban over towards the Nun. No Daryl available. Compositions on this map, we've seen a bunch before, but Gene often gets banned out in these bounty game modes. Humble see it slip through and they snap him up.
Yeah, huge turnaround potential from that brawler. One magic hand or 3, if you've got the hypercharge, can make a real big difference to how that game turns out. SK Gaming will have the following 2 picks though, and although I really like Gene on this map, I'm not too convinced of its first pick potential. I do like the brawler, but I feel like there could have been better answers to kind of SK's game plan, who seem to be always so aggressive. Not the most DPS from Humble to start things out.
Still plenty of throwers available yet. Larry and Laurie getting picked up here, the most powerful thrower in the game, getting through the ban phase. So both teams actually taking picks that are often taken out of the draft straight away, just because we're getting rid of Angelo, Mo, and Kenji. RT, a very solid follow-up here for SK.
Yeah, really smart picks from SK Gaming for Larry and Laurie, as he said. Probably the best thrower in the game at the moment, so really strong pick. And the name, with that new introduction as well of being able to float that top portion of your body over the water, it should come into some effect on Canal Grande at least. I'm not sure if it makes the biggest difference, considering you don't really veer too far away from your legs when you use that. You try to get the big
only when
damage.
the gas is coming in, right? That's the only time you want to make that play. And either way, RT is very strong in that phase of the game. So, Humble, to follow up this Gene here, it's a safe first pick. They go for Barley, so they want to take a thrower that outranges Larry and Laurie and also has utility in the form of that healing tonic. There's a lot of healing already for Humble.
Yeah, a lot as well. So we'll see the hypercharge should be thrown down from Barley a few times during this as well, which makes him just that little bit better too. 2 hypercharges to the side of Humble now and 0 still over on SK's. So that can make a big difference in those closing second with the speed boost as well.
I mean, yeah, Barley with that hypercharge kind of fulfills the same role we see Brock on this map take. Being able to blow up those bushes with your hypercharge is very powerful. It's just what Rocket Rain is used for when Brock is selected. It's all open, by the way, but Surge here coming out from Humble.
I quite like that pick. You know, they're accounting for a possibility of something more aggressive, which when you've got a Gene and a Barley, you kind of have to do. Not the highest DPS brawlers and will be taken care of by an assassin, and we know whose kind of forte that is on the opposing side. SK Gaming is still having their last pick and kind of having to rethink, as I'm sure the tank would have been what they kind of go for.
Surge is so powerful when you are all leading towards the end of a round, right? You have lots of levels, level 3 or 4, and you make use of that power shield gadget to get ammo refunded instantly. You can just vomit 5 shots out. And it will be a Piper here to round out the setup for SK Gaming. A lot of sharpshooters. Clearly, they want to stay out of Humble's reach as much as they can. But again, Barley pretty annoying here for these sharpshooters, especially if you can make use of those walls adequately. And Boss may not want to break up too much of the map if you can help it.
Seems to me like if Humble can get control early on, SK gonna have a nightmare in set 2 as well as set 1. But it all depends on that. Boss using a gadget to get out of spawn with some extra speed and move into this bush early on. But he finds a Larry and Laurie facing him. There's the healing tonic from Lukey to be able to get control of this left-hand side without putting his teammates at risk.
Joker on the Piper, quietly, hugely impactful over the last couple of days. Doesn't need to be a high flyer here, just needs to hit the shots. And he gets to play a nice little off angle now that will force Humble to group and come forward. Boss flashing that gadget already. Lukey takes a hit, and that's the homemade recipe. Hits the spot.
Boss really needs a super if he gets stuck at level 1. He's going to have some big issues. Joker using the super to break up some of the bush on the right-hand side. Took a few walls with it as well. But still, those unbreakable ones do remain. Semantic getting hit in the face quite heavily. And both of those on the left-hand side have to back up, forcing this 1v1 thrower matchup on the right-hand side. And so far, that's going in Lukey's favor, and SK are pinned in spawn. But it is only 1 star between them.
Laurie available here as well for Yoshi. Something that's very good at pressuring throwers down will force Lukey to spend some ammo, but Yoshi's holding onto it for now. Maybe to just sort of relieve some pressure when it gets too much. Here's Joker with the hypercharge, trying to take these shots. Laurie is out and Lukey is headed for the heals. Does not want to try and contend with this spawnable. Some free damage and a lot of map control yielded as a result of that, but eventually Humble moved back into an aggressive footing.
Yeah, it seems like Humble have full faith in Semantic hitting this pull, and that's exactly what they need at the moment. Only 30 seconds on the clock and no real moves being made. Starting to inch forwards now, and SK Gaming have nowhere to run. The back's against the wall. Semantic
He's
has
getting
this
there.
ball, wants it. Two of them line up. FLNA pulled in and taken out by Humble, backing up behind these walls.
Death, taxes, and a Semantic pull, baby, all guaranteed. And that gives Humble the lead. Now SK Gaming need to find a way to derive an advantage by being down 1 star. Joker takes a big hit. Here's the last call to create that map control in Lenar. He's going to go for Lukey. One more shot would do it. His gadget won't be enough to get the kill. But SK Gaming, it's Joker that gives them the lead. What a comeback.
What was Semantic doing? Completely out of position on the left-hand side. I was looking at Lukey making mistakes, and more of the same over the left-hand side. He got the pull and got them the lead, but also made them lose.
No one is better inside 3 seconds of a bounty round than SK Gaming. What they did yesterday at the Zeta Division just blew my mind. They are so composed when it really matters. And a good start already, laying Semantic low, forcing a healing gadget from Lukey.
Some good control early on once more from Humble, but Blue Star is with them this time, and nobody on the Humble side has fallen, which means SK are eventually going to have to push into this Humble roster. And with all this control, it's not going to be the easiest task.
You see the difficulty for Yoshi. He is outranged mostly by Luca, and he's actually trying to opt out of a direct matchup against this Barley, because it's quite frustrating to try and get that damage in. Good pressure, another healing tonic drawn out of the Barley.
Yoshi trying to move along the right-hand side. The exact same matchups as last game, and for the most part, they went in Humble's favor, but SK Gaming know when to get those kills and know how to do it as well. Boss still remains at level 1, as I think he did in the last game until the closing seconds as well. Homemade recipe already selected for Joker, and he's not going to find anybody with it.
But now good tap here on Semantic. Joker getting a little close for comfort here. Able to pop the super and get away. Map opened up a little bit more now, makes it harder for Humble to move up behind cover. 50 seconds left here, and Humble have that blue star. That's the difference here.
SK still got a lot of ground to gain if they want to get this game back. Lene moving forwards, pulls available for Semantic, but he gets it run straight into him. The knockback's there and they get the kill as well. Risky game, but it pays off once more for Humble.
Joker could have had a kill there. Onto Boss, I think. Homemade recipe just didn't quite connect. Semantic's gonna hide. Humble have no reason to get too aggressive, but note that they're maintaining this map control in the mid. Again, Joker tries to come forward, get a lucky shot. Has to back off. Very, very low to Lukey's damage now as Lenar's trying to relieve the pressure for Yoshi across the map. Joker's down. Lukey got him in max range, and a 5-star lead might be too much for SK to make up, but in they come anyway. Semantic a little low. Yoshi needs time to heal, but he also needs to hit some of these shots. He's got no choice but to go for it. And SK Gaming just pull up short.
Got one, but not quite enough for SK Gaming. Couldn't pull off the miraculous comeback twice in a row. And Humble stayed calm, stayed composed, and got another win on the board. Now just one stands between them and 2 sets. But if SK get it, we're back to 1-1.
The Barley is doing so much here for Humble, Trav. That is difficult to deal with. Lukey, rather. Young Rookie of the Year 2023. And Boss says, I'll just X Blue Star, I guess. Tap down pretty low, though. No gadget use there, though, from the RT.
Yoshi kept low, not healing up just yet, and Boss looking for the pinch. Wants this level 2. Obviously has a few gadgets along the game to get that extra boost of speed to get him in, get him out of places. Last call already coming in, and what a time to get it as well. All of them pinned back into spawn. And it seems SK are trying something different this time, moving Yoshi over to this left-hand side and having the 3 versus 2, but eventually rotating over. And that's not going to still, even 2v1, be the best matchup for SK.
Yeah, the Barley pressure's just too much for them, I think. Lukey finally takes a hit. This lets Yoshi move up a little further, but he remains outranged by the enemy Barley, and Semantic lends some magic puff healing over to the bartender. Lenar just doesn't have a shot on Boss right now. He's transitioning over towards the left. Lenar able to pick him off. There it is. SK in the lead by 1. Semantic comes forward now. What a whiff of the magic hand. And Semantic's got to run. He's low.
I mean, Yoshi was blissfully unaware to the super as well, and Semantic still manages to miss it. Boss gonna need a level 2 if they want to get back into this game and take this set. Only 1 star up, and it is the blue star along with it as well, but Yoshi gaining some decent ground on the right-hand side. Lukey trying to move up, gets behind the unbreakable wall and positions himself for a late game push.
Lenar here super up. He's not going to use it until the end of the round. Semantic's low. He gets away. It's a stay of executioner down the right-hand side. Last call to force Yoshi back. 16 seconds. 15 now as Lenar tries to hold position, but it's going to be Boss coming forward. Hypercharge pot for Joker if he needs to escape. Lenar, 5 HP, Lenar! Joker able to get out there with the poppin'. Semantic takes a hit, but he's got to come forward. 3 stars is the difference, and they get the Gene. That'll get the job done. SK Gaming even up the series.
Seemed like a chance for Humble, but cut short once more by SK. 1-1 as they manage to take Canal Grande.
This is something SK do so well, Trav. They literally spend 95% of the round losing sometimes before coming back and taking it. They're dealing with the range supremacy that Lukey has had and has been exercising on them. It's Semantic.
What is he doing?
So far forward there.
It's a free game if he backs off. I don't know if he thought maybe the pinch was going to be on Lukey, but didn't really seem anywhere near at risk on the right-hand side for me at least. Stepping out of line, I mean, it comes with the territory.
Oh.
They're on stage, the nerves are high. What a pull that was, just the wrong player to pull as Joker has that popping to get out, and Lenane would have flipped the game if he managed to get him. Very unfortunate for Humble, but great play by SK.
Direct hit for Gene is about 2,200 damage. Would have been able to knock Joker out there. The lamp blowout used to try and stun Joker and delay the poppin', but he still gets that super off and he gets out to safety. Joker at 284 DPS. The collapse, I think, on the boss was the difference maker there. Joker able to take some shots. Lenar as well. They're working on opposite angles against the Surge. They get a little 2v1 on the left-hand side of the map and they turn that into a star lead. And at that point, Humble had to take risks to try and equalize.
I mean, Humble so far have seemed like the team who weren't really letting nerves affect them, but it seemed like they started to creep through during that set. And on center stage in Brawl Ball, they've got to change things, change their ways if they're going to want to be able to move up against SK once more. As we head into Brawl Ball, it gets a bit more aggressive, and I feel like this favors both teams quite heavily.
Will Humble take a set back? Will Trav ever forgive Semantic for that overstep?
No.
Stick around to find out, I guess. All right, heading into Brawl Ball here, we have a Gale banned by SK Gaming. They get out of the way straight away now. That seems pretty telegraphed here. Looking for a max.
That's bold.
First pick.
Very bold. But, I mean, it works. It can work occasionally. I don't love it as a first pick, but it's their play style. If they can add some tanks to it, they've banned out the Gale, they've banned out an Otis, which is a wild ban, I will say, in itself. So they might be gearing up to try and play some tanks.
They're going to play a tank, right? There's Otis, as we've recently seen, is just devastating on these kind of maps. I think Humble have read into this. Picking up the Frank. Now, Daryl is a decent answer to this. Daryl can interrupt Frank's super with that super of his own. That little knock-up is enough to cancel it out. That's what we saw happen to Shtitapo, I think, as he tried to play the Frank and looked pretty average on it on day number 1. Humble, get the tank, now what? They've really tipped their hands here, though. Surge has been banned by Humble. They're trying to deal with any potential tank counters. That's why Clancy has also been wiped off. Kenji is still open.
I mean, a Frank first pick is wild.
How
they're going to go with Amber.
Oh, they're ready for a tank.
Yeah, breaking up some of those grass, some of that grass as well, I should say. But, you know, as you said, the Daryl's still on the table to be able to counteract that Frank. The Primo as well through center stage works so well. And SK play it incredibly too. The Primo plays that they managed to pull off throughout this year have been, you know, next to none. But obviously, still 2 picks for them. I don't mind the Amber, obviously coming in, breaking up the bushes. That's the whole point of center stage. You have that incredibly bushy area around the mid. And with the Frank, 1 hypercharge and all of the walls and bushes go. And Amber obviously a little bit easier to get that done earlier on in the game. SK go the Colette, completely pivot off what seems, or what it seemed they were going to be going.
They are serial Colette pickers when it comes to Brawl Ball here, and the Kenji to finish the lineup. Kenji is answered by tanks. Lenar, of course, we saw Colette from SK Gaming on a previous Brawl Ball round yesterday. It was fine. They had Colette and Gale as well. It's odd now, maybe they might have wished they'd left that in the rotation. I think this has been a pivot from SK Gaming away from a tank composition. Seeing Amber and Frank picked up back-to-back, they're looking for a different approach.
Yeah, I mean, just wild drafts, really. And a Sandy comes in as well.
Okay.
Listen, I love a Sandy. I absolutely love it, but it kind of seems like it's going to be a bit susceptible to that Kenji, the assassin. Hasn't got much DPS, but Sweet Dreams can do some wonders in front of goal. So I don't hate the pick. Obviously, the amount of vision you're going to be able to get with the super, with the root sands, it can work. But I'm looking at SK's comp and I'm loving what I'm seeing.
Absolutely. Humble do have a lot of map control, both through bush destruction and, of course, that Sandy super. 2 stuns as well between the Frank and the Sandy. A lot to work with, but SK Gaming, off the back of a victorious set, now step out with this Colette Kenji max composition.
I mean, so far so good. As Semantic just beelining towards the goal. Might be able to get a gadget off here, and Yoshi actually patches it straight over to that right-hand side once more. Luki gonna go down as Joker comes in, but Yoshi's so low. So many heals when you got your gadget of Frank, though. And Boss looking for some shots of his own. Got a super ready, but Yoshi will send him all the way back to spawn.
Almost daring, I think, the Sandy to use yet another Sweet Dreams gadget, but I think they know they have to hold on to those for the Kenji. I think we might have seen 2 Amber gadgets used here, I'm not sure. And Semantic able to take Leonard down. Frank definitely an issue for the Kenji. Yoshi, though, perfectly designed to deal with these big bodies, and Semantic will fall.
Yeah, Boss throws out super there. I'm sure they'd have liked the Frank to be along with them for the ride. But Joker falls low on the right. Lenane starts to make a push through this mid. Boss gonna use the Sweet Dreams, but his Root Sand instantly cancels it out, and Lenane was back in action. Luki will fall too, and Lenane going wild.
Semantic here, gadget used, but nobody brought in. He's low, going for the super. Yoshi tried to interrupt it with that super. No connection, and Semantic gets what he came for there. In goes Leonard, caught out though, the Sandy damage is real. Semantic will lead the way with a stun. Taken out, but Boss is here, healthy enough to walk it in.
Just about as Joker started to flank around the back and get some damage. Hypercharge used, and now Yoshi's has been charged. Lenane's got his super. Moving forwards, he's slicing through Luki here, but Semantic's there and waiting. Hypercharge as well. Can Semantic keep him off the ball? It's passed to the left, and SK equalise.
And now we start to see the game plan. Kenji dodging a lot of these Frank hits. And the hypercharge there from Joker. Boss hit by 1 slash of that, but it's going to be Leonard stunned up here. Yoshi able to take Boss down, but how are you going to stop this now? Push it. He's got the goal anyway. Semantic, proud as a peacock right in front. It's a super shot for the game win.
Almost stopped by Yoshi, who had a phenomenal game all the way through, defeating so many of those humble brawlers, but still couldn't quite fend off this aggression that the Frank was bringing to the table. And he was dealing with the Kenji so well, predicting where he was going to land with the supers, with the gadgets, and taking him off the map.
He's an unreal role player, isn't he? Picking up a lot of these positions to try and stop tanks, for example, but this has gone terribly for SK. Humble, okay. Well, they'll take the first goal pretty comfortably.
And a hypercharge already available from Semantic. A lot of these walls taken out of the mix though, and Semantic now moving forwards, getting behind this wall. Wants to use it, moves that tiniest bit further forward, and the name will fall down. Yoshi now going to be super down by the Frank. Got a gotcha gadget shot in there as well. Boss, Sweet Dream's still available. Chooses not to go for it, waiting it out. Frank's got the super. Use it. Joker grabs the ball, but double stun, and the lineup's perfect. Another one, but the ball can't be passed. Yoshi dodges, but Semantic secures 2 sets to 1.
Soak it up, Semantic. This is your moment. There's a Frank super at the end of that round. Joker phase shifts into it and gets stunned. He was probably hoping for it to be a little longer to try and overshoot the Frank to avoid it. But he miscalculates and gets caught. It all comes crumbling down after that for SK.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing for him. I think he was just trying to get the ball out and delay what Humble were trying to do. Maybe he had a teammate respawn, and that was so close as well. I mean, inevitably a goal regardless, as he could have just picked up the ball again on the same spot and scored it, but Humble played this so well. I mean, he goes for it, tries to get the ball to Lenane. I don't know if he thinks that Semantic's trying to super him, and maybe Lenane won't be affected by it. But in the end, they managed to force it through, and all 3 members of Humble were there to deal with the scraps. 10 kills and 481 for Semantic. But Yoshi over the other side trying to do as much as he can. Got so much DPS, but no matter how much DPS he got, Semantic had more.
Sorry, Semantic, 481 DPS against one of the most mobile compositions available in Brawl Stars right now. Leonard dashes as part of his basic attack. Joker has speed and, of course, a gadget to dodge. And yet Semantic, he gets it all, laughing all the way to the bank. Gotta feel like Colette was still the good pick here. did a great job of putting pressure on Semantic, but again, when you see a Frank that's able to do so much, you've got to ask yourself, did we do enough to counter him?
The issue for me is, I'm kind of thinking that Kenji was the issue, and I never thought I'd be saying that. In the current meta, that Kenji was the problem in a composition. But I don't feel like he did anything.
Not enough either way. Time and time again, we watched Lenar get blown to smithereens. But now we put it behind us once more. Ring of Fire will be our 4th set, and for Humble, it might be all that stands between them and a grand finals berth. SK Gaming have some catching up to do, Trav.
Well, in comes the draft, and as you said, Ring of Fire is the map we're going on to. The Bell, Stu, and Clancy bands from SK Gaming. Humble, on the flip side, taking the Stu out of the way, along with the Gus and Mo. So Kenji still surviving through this, but you kind of got to expect maybe an early surge pick, something like that. And we've seen a lot of teams kind of going anti-Kenji rather than picking it up.
Some teams are also still trying to get Lou on these hot zone maps. Ooh. All right, we are trying it again. SK determined to make this Kenji pick work. Suffice to say, Lenar wasn't quite set up for success in that previous map. Humble here have seen this one before. They know SK are consummate Kenji preferers. So what is the answer going to be? Note that Clancy and Mo unavailable. Also, Gus has been removed, so that's one of the tools that's often used to empower Kenji. That has been put by the wayside.
Well, I think we've kind of got to expect surge. It's going to be the Amber coming through once more. It worked for them in the previous set. I'm sure they're going to be trying the exact same thing again. Obviously, with the Mythic gear, you have that slowing effect, well, slight slowing effect when your opposition stand in the oil. So if you're able to throw so much of that towards the zone and just kind of let it linger there, then it does do a lot of work without really showing too much.
Yeah, Amber are really quite dangerous. I mean, both of her Mythic gears are really, really good, but just being able to get more utility out of that oil spill as opposed to being some mild threat is pretty powerful. Also, Dancing Flames, very good against Kenji if he tries to move up on you. It's not bugged anymore, but it still does a healthy amount of damage. About 1,800 per flame. Ooh. Meg will be the second pickup here for Humble.
I mean, it's got a lot of DPS and a lot of health to play through this mid. I'd imagine they're kind of going to be using the star power, you know, going to be exploding, pushing Kenji back when coming aggressive and getting her out of that mech form. But SK Gaming still have another 2 picks. I wouldn't have really predicted either of these 2 brawlers from Humble, to be honest with you, to be played into Kenji. But they seem pretty decent to me. And obviously, something that's been so consistent for them all year long has been their drafts. And every time I question them, they seem to prove me wrong.
It's a pretty impressive comp for Humble. I mean, we know that Meg could just keep walking up onto the point here. Lola coming down for SK Gaming. Just incredible, you know, damage, and she basically operates within her optimal range on Ring of Fire. Can also play a off angle, pressure the right-hand side behind some of those barrels, or play back and control any push up the left. We've seen plenty of Surge on this map as well in the past.
I'd like to see a surge, especially from Humble, but you got a question if SK Gaming are now kind of just going to take it, to move it out of their hands. Something like a Gale, still extremely viable for the Humble side as well, to be able to, yeah, they've gone for the surge, just taking it out of their opposition's hands, and still, it's a capable brawler into both Meg and Amber alike, so very good pick from SK, I feel.
Again, you could be fed levels off that Meg. She is extremely immobile, but it's a threat of her torrential damage that tends to keep people away from her. Now Luki here saying, what is it going to be for me? What do we compare with this combination? Do we think we want some healing? Oh. Yes! Berry comes out. One of the newest brawlers in the game. Berry is able to throw down these ice cream pools that heal over time. Pretty short range as far as throwers are concerned. Also has a super that lets him get a burst of mobility while dropping more of those ice cream fields. So it will be healing here to pair with Boss.
I like it. I mean, if you can chain enough supers off your teammates standing in that ice cream and getting the heals back, it's going to charge more and more and more every time they stand in it. So Berry, a very viable healer to have here, along with the Meg and the Amber. Should be pretty mid-centric gameplay from the side of Humble, whereas SK might kind of fan out a bit more and come down the sides.
Here we go. Berry gets increased reload speed when he's standing in his own ice cream field with that star power he's picked up here. Now Lenar just doesn't have the damage to cut through this setup here for Humble. Yoshi trying to work that off angle. Hasn't built super yet. Isn't getting the free damage he was hoping for.
I mean, look at that. Kenji already getting 2 supers. Like, they're just going to stand in these puddles and get them back. It's absolutely unreal from this Humble roster. You're going to see Lenar going to get caught again by that swing. And Semantic just suppressing him down this left-hand side, and it's 50-0 already.
And Luki is cycling these supers like you mentioned, Trav. He can dish out so much healing onto the map. He doesn't even really need to try and attack. Another super comes through, and again, it's more healing for Semantic. SK Gaming are rudderless.
They look lost. Lenane coming through the mid once more, eventually gets his super and gets some good damage in, but how much can he take himself? Not enough this time. Yoshi going to be looking for the shots back. Semantic still survives and might be able to 1v1 Joker out of the mech. 4% is all that's required, and they'll get just that. Humble match point.
And they look composed. What a ridiculous composition. This berry looks fantastic in this shell, combined with the Amber, who also wants to play around her own field effects, and the Meg, who just wants to stand there and get all the resources. SK Gaming, it's now or never. You need to figure this out.
Well, a little bit of a lane swap then for Lenane as he goes right instead of left this time, but so much damage can come in from Semantic, and the heals are there once more. Surely Lenane falls, but gets a lot of damage along the way too. And already, SK have got more percentage than the last, but still not looking the most healthy. Yoshi's going to fall down, and Joker backed off.
Humble swimming in an ice cream dream. Nothing SK can do is able to shift them right now. Luki spins back, super thrown out. Lenar sees an opportunity. He gets the berry. That's the healing gone, but those pulls are persisting. Yoshi moves up here. Again, Lenar has to do so much heavy lifting here. Eventually he's going to fall, but Joker did get a bit of extra percentage, and Luki needs to respect the lower damage.
Super used, and that should provide Semantic with enough HP to stay in this mid and get some more percentage. Lenane once more flanking around the right-hand side, but found Joker, Yoshi both so low and still yet to get a level 2. Super comes in from Luki, does fall down on the way. Lenane goes in aggressive, but dealt with once more. And SK have a problem they can't solve.
No, I don't think this composition is it, Trav. I don't think they've been able to figure this out, and they're running out of time. 77% and counting. Joker loses the ego. Lenar suffers ego death as Humble push them back yet again. Joker at 400 eventually has to fall. Here's the slash me for Lenar, but that is just not going to cut it. Yoshi steps up, but those who humble themselves will be exalted. Semantic and the boys are headed to their first grand final.
SK fans distraught, but Humble carry on the consistent streak that they've had all year long, make it all the way to the grand finals.
And that man on your screen has suffered more disappointments than I would care to count. We've seen it every time, the crushing defeat. But this year, something is different. This year, there's a little bit of magic about this Humble squad. And they've earned the right to stand at the top, to fight for the title.
It didn't seem like SK today. It really didn't. The team we've been seeing over the last 2 days did not show up on day 3. And Humble, they recognize that. They beat them down time and time again. And especially over the last couple of sets, it's been all Humble. 1, 1, and 3. A lot of DPS from Lenane, but too much heals from Luki.
What more is Joker supposed to do? 756 DPS. One of the most egregious scorelines I've ever seen. The Luki with the silver bullet, the ace in the sleeve, and ace beats Joker, by the way. Nothing they could do against this berry healing.
That actually might be the most DPS I've ever seen in competitive Brawl Stars. That is crazy from Joker. But the berry heals just prove too much for SK to deal with. And Humble, staying as consistent as ever and making it to the grand finals once more. They've done it time and time and time again through 2024, but fallen at the last hurdle more times than not.
Honestly, it's a rarity to see a team that has such a great performance over the season and maintain it. But Humble have done it. They have hit that high gear and they have not taken their foot off the gas. Let's talk MVP, and it will be your boy, Semantic.
I mean, after that Frank performance, I don't think anybody can really disagree with what this is. It was disgraceful from both him and his teammates as well. Such an incredible roster. The mechanics these guys have brought to the table over the last few days have really earned them their finals performance. And let's not forget, the drafts have been wild, but they've worked.
Yeah, always these last pocket picks coming out from Humble have made the difference. Let's look at the bracket here and talk about what is to come. We say goodbye, a fond farewell once more to SK Gaming. Still a household name in Brawl esports, still royalty as far as we're concerned. But their chair has been removed from the table. Humble will await the winner of Crazy Raccoon and Reply Totem. Will it be an EMEA Grand Final, or will APAC's #1 team again step up to the challenge? And Tensai will be looking for his 3rd World Championship, a feat never been seen in Brawl Stars before. We're going to go to a break, folks. When we come back, it keeps heating up. Our second semi-final, Reply Totem going up against Crazy Raccoon. Coming up.
The 2024 Brawl Stars World Finals are brought to you by ESL, Monster Energy, and DHL.
It's funny. They call us heroes. They say everything is back to normal. But they don't know how much we sacrifice to keep it that way. Some things never change. Well, maybe they do.
Welcome back to Super Sunday, live from Helsinki, Finland, where our first grand final spot has just been secured by Humble. And they will have to patiently wait to find out who their opponent is going to be. So let's find out who that's going to be, shall we? Our next opponent to step out onto the main stage with an outstanding first 2 days of competition here. It is Maru, Maori, and iChaos. They are Reply Totem! Next up, a team that has proven time and time again that they belong at the peak of the mountain. It is, of course, Tensai, Shitampo, and Moya. They are Crazy Raccoon!
Once again in the top 4 stage. We have seen this matchup every single World Finals since 2021, the very first time we saw Reply Totem make it to this stage.
This is now a 4-year tradition. Every year at the World Finals, Totem get tested against APAC's #1 squad. This year's lineup, Maru, Maori, iChaos, the new blood being brought into this roster after the departure of Joker. This one's going to be interesting. Will this change be the difference maker in 2024?
iChaos, this is his what, 18th, 17th, 19th? It's tough to keep up with at this point because this guy has qualified for every single World Final in Brawl Stars esports history, and he's back to try and take gold.
He's in rare air, but unfortunate for him, the entire enemy side, some of the best in the entire planet, mechanical gods, if you will. These guys have several brawlers that are on the Mount Rushmore. Crazy Raccoon, #1 in APAC, and these fellas, Tensai, Satampo, Moye, have been afloat in this APAC region for several years in a row now. Tensai going for his 3rd World Championship. That is an unbelievable stat line.
Satampo, such a skilled player, widely regarded as one of the best, maybe even the best across the entire globe. He's got a World Finals championship under his belt, as well as a runner-up in 2022. The last time that we saw Crazy Raccoon, these players truly dominate the world stage.
Satampo as well. Interesting thing about him, that Melody pick, he said it was his favorite. Honestly, that's been one of the standouts this entire tournament. And fun fact, if we get all the way to a map 5, bridge too far, he could be dominating with that brawler once again. The mechanics are just unbelievable out of this guy. One thing to note from yesterday too, something that I took with me, when they played Elevate, I've never seen them celebrate the way that they did. They show emotions, they're happy, I know they are. But I think they truly thought that they might lose yesterday. I'm curious how that affects the confidence going into Reply Totem in a rematch for the 4th year in a row.
If you are a Brawl Stars fan, going back to 2021, the first time that we saw this guy take a World Finals title, you may remember that there was celebration, but only as they lifted the trophy. At no other point did we see the excitement come out, and much the same rolled over into 2022 when he took 2nd place. These guys now know that they are not invincible, that they can bleed. And when they have a scrappy match against Elevate, when they drop out in the top 4 just like last year, that is when they have this harrowing moment of realizing that they can be beaten, and they might not be the best on the globe without a doubt.
Last year they took an early exit. I call it early, it was a semifinals, but by their standards, an early exit here to another EMEA squad. They already handled them earlier in the group stage, and now they're continuing their arc back to a grand finals here. Hard to believe it's been a couple years since we've seen them there, which if anything should cement how insane their legacies are in this esport.
Well, Crazy Raccoon, last year, the only team that could take them down was the world champions themselves, Zeta Division. They're out of the running now. That squad is no longer a consideration here. That is a type of gameplay. Those are the players that is required to eliminate Crazy Raccoon from this competition. Totem has a home field advantage though. They have the whole crowd rooting for them by the sounds of things. So many supporters out there, but you guys at home in droves are voting for Crazy Raccoon. 68% think that they are going to take it all, and on the caster's desk, we all think that Crazy Raccoon are going to take it too.
Shout out to all the fans packing the stands here at Superfest. It's been unbelievable, and they've certainly sided with some of our EMEA rosters. Crazy Raccoon doing what Crazy Raccoon does best, locking in the max here early. In terms of what stands out with their strategy, when asked about it, Tensai and Satampo said mechanics and individual power. These guys do not let the meta dictate their strategy. Mechanics are what they rely on, and they are here to beat every single team on this turf their own way.
We'll see how Reply Totem respond to this. They're going to have to go for some anti-max sort of stuff. Gale is going to be able to slow things down, also push back some tanky brawlers, anything that wants to get up in their faces, and Frank, the big man, now ready to throw down the hammer on the field. But Crazy Raccoon do have some tools in their toolkit for taking this kind of stuff down. I'm thinking Colette as a possibility for Crazy Raccoon. They're going to have to scout out some of these bushes as well. Now Max is going to be the mid brawler out here. The high expectation is that we see Tensai pick up this brawler, and that Moya and Satampo start to pick up these lanes. Now into the Frank though, you have quite a few options. Something like Anita would be definitely a favorite of the Crazy Raccoon roster. Sandy also a consideration.
Gale, I think, has been less than impressive here at the World Finals, but it is going to be a solid counter into the max speed. Pairing that with Frank, if that's something they wanted to go with, kind of 2 birds with 1 stone. Once again, though, we're going to see Colette be an answer into Frank. That's just what she does best. A little extra range, and even though it's a little more close quarters of a map, you're relying on some grass. This isn't going to be an open field. With a little wall break from Frank, this should get easier and easier as the match progresses. Something real to make use of these bushes from Crazy Raccoon would be paramount over here. We'll see El Primo as a response to Frank. We saw from Crazy Raccoon in the months leading up here to the World Finals that they don't really like to play the meta. They like to play the brawlers that they are good at, and they let their mechanics do the talking. But yesterday,
And in day one, we observed that these guys actually aren't shying away from picking up some of these brawlers that are dictating the meta right now. Here comes the Cordelius as a final selection from Reply Totem. I actually like this one quite a lot. I think it should be pretty good into this El Primo. Should be able to isolate El Primo also from that Frank, since it's really one of the main things that should be able to shut him down in close range.
I think Cordelius is a great one at a professional level. It's going to be a fantastic option into the El Primo. And obviously having that super can remove any piece of the puzzle from this map. Rivalry is restored, legacy's on the line, and only one team here has a chance at the holy grail of our beloved esports. It's the 4th annual tradition, Crazy Raccoon versus Reply Totem.
4th time's the charm. That's what Reply Totem are thinking right now as iKaos already punches through the right side. Tensai in the Shadow Realm completely unable to defend, and already a goal for Reply Totem.
Early answer here from Totem, beautifully played, but now the speed gets deployed. Tensai in the mid. It's Totem. Backed up immediately, Mari lurking, has a super. Moya diving in though, fearless as he dives in on the enemy team. Low HP, a super shot, pierces it through! Shatapo puts up a bucket!
Reply Totem looking for an explosive start here. They have Maori with the hypercharge and the super. Can break down all of these bushes if he wants, but here comes the speed, and Moya is equipped with the super, ready to receive a pass that's headed towards the enemy side. Sitatampo also weakening up some of these enemies on the right side. We'll see Moya also emerge from the Shadow Realm in just a second here. iKaos in perfect position to get the silence as well. Moya on the left side, completely vulnerable to Maori. It's just Tensai to defend. He's sent to the realm. Maori looking to walk it in, but has to pass to Maru. Needs some value here. Sitatampo manages to pick up this ball. Excellent hypercharge. Not taken down by Maori just yet. Now, getting a responsive push to the enemy side.
Moya with a dive in, a double tap, and gets one. Chaos forced to the other end. Hypercharge available for him as Tensai peppers from middle of the map. This is one of Shatampo's best brawlers of all time, an iconic one for him. He's handling Frank quite well, but Totem definitely in the mix here.
Maru looking for Moya, the ideal target to push away. Hypercharge in from iKaos. Mid-super, Sitatampo is stopped in his tracks. Immunity to the stun. Maori's looking for the kill. Maru going for the goal. Moya tries to defend, intercepts it. Maori now trying to put this one in. Sitatampo couldn't get the stun. And Crazy Raccoon fall in this first game, going to Totem.
This is a big confidence boost. Reply Totem, definitely the underdogs here. Not only has the core of Reply Totem lost this matchup several years in a row, this one's fresh for iKaos. He lost to this team 3-0 last year in the group stage. He was embarrassed by them. Coming into this, his biggest rival, he said, was Shatampo. He wants it bad. This is bad blood all around as they fight off for game number 2.
Sitatampo already in the back right. Can't receive that pass. Tensai's gonna have to get a creative way to put it on the enemy side. Maru, the lone defender, can't do it. Tensai couldn't get the phase shifter forward either to secure the goal. Reply Totem put out another bid to get this mid control back. Maori has the ability to stun over here. iKaos with the pickup on the right. Now Sitatampo is in the realm. No counters on the field for Maori, but Sitatampo is soon to emerge from the realm. On the backside, does anyone know where he is? They have to give an educated guess that he is in this bush. And his position is now revealed, but Maori's gonna go for the super. Baits out Moya. iKaos with the silence, but Moya cycles out another super. Still mutually assured destruction. And in the realm, once again, iKaos gets the kill.
iKaos has been a problem this entire game. He's sneaky, and any moment he can take a brawler, send him to the Shadow Realm for an excellent one-on-one. Maori once again gonna get sneaky here though. Right-hand side reveals himself as Maru switches to the other end, has a super available. The stun goes through. Moya forced to defend, gets the hypercharge with the contact, dives in. The gadget good though. Maori rushing to the ball on the left-hand end, pass to his teammate here. 2v1, and they punched it through. Totem on the board.
1 minute left for Crazy Raccoon to tie up the score. They got 2 hypercharges to make the magic happen. And now Sitatampo is equipped with a super of his own. Tensai now with a hypercharge max super. It's drive time. Moya has a super in, breaking up these walls. Maori also thrown over to the left side. Could have been a kill for Sitatampo if it had not been choreographed like that. Reply Totem still getting this defense on. Sitatampo falls, but an exchange as Maori also gets taken down. Tensai's ready with yet another speed for this next pitch, as Moya is preparing for Frank to push in once more.
This is a big commitment here, 30 seconds to go. Hypercharge from Maru, there's one. Shatampo all alone, some Moya gets wiped from the map as well and sends them to the underworld. Chaos in the 1v1 gets a wipe. 20 seconds to go and CR nowhere in sight.
Defense is the highest priority for Reply Totem right now. We see Moya trying to get some offense going, denied. Oh, it's not looking good. Crazy Raccoon looking for anything they possibly can. This ball's cornered in the back right. Tenside's gonna have to make a run for it, but he's gotta get through a full health Frank with a super and a hypercharge to make it happen. It's not! And Reply Totem secures set 1.
Little stretch out for my chaos there. And the fellas look all settled in. The red roster starting off hot here, getting the audience going. And Reply Totem's fan base is loud and proud here in Helsinki.
This is the environment where Reply Totem thrive. A countless number of LAN appearances. An incredible performance at each and every one. They've taken down Crazy Raccoon in the past. You look back to 2023 and Snapdragon Mobile Masters, they did manage to secure a 3-1 victory, and they went on to win the whole thing. How fitting would it be for Reply Totem to take this all the way and secure a Grand Finals victory? A trend continuing after last year. The only team that could take down Crazy Raccoon at the 2023 World Finals were the ones who won it all.
And the one that caught my eye, and it reflects in the stats as well, a 12-piece out of iChaos. This selection is not a normal one, I'd say, but when you look at the enemy brawlers, especially when you get them on Cordelius' turf, Max doesn't have a chance. Colette is normally going to be better into those high HP brawlers. That's why they brought it in. It was for the Frank on the other side. But if Chaos is doing his job, especially as well as he was, there was no shot Totem were going to drop that set.
Frank is a brawler that demands a counter in order for you to actually be successful into it. You can't compete toe-to-toe with the guy. You have to have something strong into it. And Cordelius has this ability of completely removing a brawler from the field. Once that counter is gone, Frank gets to go on an absolute tear. But Chaos is still getting good moments outside from simply negating the effects of the Frank counter. He's still picking up kills. 12 kills in that last set.
This is a really, really solid one for him, and I think he has to be instrumental in this. You know how much it means to him. He's had a fantastic career, a great showing at LANs. I mean, you read it off earlier. I mean, nearly 20 LANs, and maybe he's got that by now. It's hard to keep track because the guy's just so darn good. He's been at World Finals for years. He's never made the big leap, and on the other side has been a team that's ended him before. We turn our heads now to Last Stop and Jim Grab as a game mode. This one's an interesting one compared to some other ones out there, though. It's a wide open mid, a skinny narrow left, a skinny narrow right-hand lane, so you get some tanks sometimes. We get our sharp shooters in the mix, and this weekend, a lot of Tara.
This is a map where I think we can expect to see Crazy Raccoon thrive. This is the meta. This is the game that they play. They play for control, they play for synergy. You have a mid brawler that has a wide open mid to get some heals, get some support onto teammates. And know that Gus, Byron, they are wide open for Crazy Raccoon to take advantage of over here. And they also have a last pick at their disposal to go for something a little crazy. The final say in this draft, if you will.
Clancy's been a big one this weekend as well, top 2 in plays, which makes sense why they ban him. There's the Tara. Again, it's not somebody that I feel like has gotten a lot of flash in the meta as of recently. It got that hypercharge a little bit ago, but it seems like players just always bring this out in the World Finals stage. I don't know if it's just an equal level playing field, whatever it is, but the big playmaking ability of Tara is something that stands out to me. When you have that hypercharge, it can make a massive pull to turn the tides and swing an entire game your way. It makes a huge difference.
The expectation for Tara is, first of all, you're going to be able to get these shades down. That should be pretty good into Surge if Tara needs to play that right lane. But I think she will most likely be good on this left side where she can sneak up on this little enclave where the gem carrier will want to reside. It's the safest area for any gem carrier to stay in. So Reply Totem now need to start thinking about which mid brawler they're going to go for. A little unorthodox from Crazy Raccoon to not go ahead and pick up a gem carrier of their own. They're going to be saving that for the last pick. Penny, pretty solid out here as well. Has some self-defense capabilities in form of that salty barrel. Will also be able to get that turret up and running. She recently got a buff as well to her range, which will allow her to play in mid if she needs to.
Penny's regular shot is a direct answer into Tara's spawners and also Lola's ego. And I think you get a little 2-for-1 here. You get control of the map like you alluded to with old Lobber, the super that she has, and this is going to be their mid selection right here. is Gus distributing the bubble, looking to give his allies a little extra heals. It makes a big difference, especially with an aggressive brawler like Surge. Imagine a tier 3, a tier 4 totem brawler now sprinting down the enemy end with a super and also a Gus shield. It's a really powerful tool and something that pros have really loved this weekend. In fact, he's the #1 picked brawler walking into today. The issue for me is he's only won a third of his sets.
That is a big concern. Byron, now the selection across the way for Crazy Raccoon. This is their style of play, the synergistic mids. And into this Gus, I honestly think that the Byron is more likely to succeed. Into Reply Totem as well with these aggressive brawlers, Penny trying to get in close range. We also see Surge trying to sneak up some of these lanes. Byron should be able to get a KO with that super. I'm seeing a lot of potential for one of these lanes to get super buffed by the Byron. For Gus, it's going to take him quite a lot longer to charge up. He's going to have to get that super first, then he's going to have to line up a pinpoint precision long-range shot onto his teammate in order to actually give him that bubble.
Moya, Maori taking the mid immediately as Maru sneaks onto this right-hand end, Tensai trying to scout him out here. Tampo, left-hand side, looking for shots. There's the first shield being distributed. No amount of tags for Maru. He needs more. He has to be able to get to this 2-2 tier 3 stage, and Tensai feeds him a little bit, but shuts him down immediately. Now they have control of the entire right-hand lane.
Tensai has this super as well. Reply Totem are acutely aware they do not want to touch this thing with a 10-foot pole, but Maru's going to have no choice. He's got to go in, getting a couple shots off on Moya. On the level 3 already, now has another super at his disposal, but Tensai's receiving all the heals in the world, and Site Tampo has diffed this left side. Maori is forced back. iKaos now coming back for another try, but he needs a super in order to actually break this stalemate.
Without a super, no old lobber to put some pressure to back CR up. They have to do it the old-fashioned way. Combat on all fronts, but this water makes it difficult to navigate. They have to go with a launch pad, and if they do that, they know Tara is just sitting, waiting for him. Finally, a little expansion from the red roster here, but they need plenty more space to work with and a lot of health points alongside it.
If Maori collapses on this left side, that's a disaster. Tensai emerges from the bushes, still trades. Maori forced back by this attack shade. And we'll see the lane switch to Maori closing around the right side. That's 2 taps for Moya, a kill, but iKaos now returns to take his place on the right side. Note that Tensai is equipped with his hypercharge. He's going to go for the super, or at least to block things off so that Moya can get gem number 10 and run it back for Crazy Raccoon.
Tensai is fully committed, 6 HP, and he knows he's going down. Maru flanking left-hand in. It's left to Shitapo to defend. Moya, back line, holding on, fighting the clock, and plenty of totem brawlers, super distributed, trying to heal himself up here, and he's going to hold on in game number 1. Apex finest take the lead in this set.
Comfort brawlers out here for Crazy Raccoon. These are the brawlers that they seriously succeed on, and they've been permitted to play it this way. This is the Apex style. This is not what they had to face in set number 1. Reply Totem managed to get something pretty tanky. They also managed to isolate some of those lanes with the Cordelius. You just can't do that here. You see Maori go hyper-aggressive off the right side, but he's completely nullified by Tensai, using these shades to keep him on low level off the beginning of the game. A takedown on Maori does not look good for Reply Totem. We'll see Moya push in. Thankfully, these gems have been deposited on Reply Totem's side, where they are quite secure. But note also on the left side, Site Tampo is replicating his success of the last game, and Reply Totem, without any other options, are going to place Maru over here on the left.
They win the retake in game number 1. Held positioning early, got a couple kills, and now they're in line position. There's the pull, a nasty pull from Tensai as well. Mari all the way on the back heels, and Maru still on this tier 1. He had to pop a gadget just to get a little bit speed.
Well, he's going to get some help here. Old Lobber is out to play on the left side. Site Tampo lanes up a laser. Maori falls. Oh, it's not looking good. Site Tampo just needs one more gem to start this countdown off for Crazy Raccoon. Moya's got all the heals in the world, and he's landing these shots on iKaos as well, keeping Reply Totem back. Just 10 seconds left for a countdown interruption. Tara trying to keep things back on the top side. Not a single threat now, approaching Crazy Raccoon's spawn. And they've done it, they've taken things back. Set number 2 secured.
Crazy Raccoon feeling themselves a little bit here too. In the past, not the most animated franchise. These players keep it calm, cool, and collected, but something's different with these guys this year. I think they've truly been challenged. They've had some insanely close calls every single match they've played. In the opening group stage, Zeta Division, LG, pushed them all the way. Yesterday, surprise dark horse, #1 seed, Elevate from North America, took them the distance. I think they know that this has not been an easy year. If they're going to win, it is going to be truly because they were the best in the globe.
Elevate really pushed them all the way to their limit as well. A double match point is what it had to come to, and that is when the Draco came out to play as well. These guys do not shy away from the brawlers that are incredibly meta right now. But provided the opportunity to stick to what they know, they are going to take it and they are going to dominate. This is a wildly biased stat line over here for Crazy Raccoon, picking up all the kills and the damage in the lobby. Tampa really stealing my attention there on the left side where not a single person was allowed through, even causing an unoptimal lane swap for Reply Totem where they put Surge over there. He's going to be outranged the entire time. His position is completely visible as well to Tampo. Not at all good for Reply Totem.
I felt like it was just multiple team wipes ahead. It never really felt like Totem were in this one because last time we had a good go. Reply Totem felt convincing in Brawl Ball, and then we turned the tide, and in set #2, it went the complete other way. Granted, I feel like Last Stop just feels like a Crazy Raccoon kind of map. You never know, but in scrims and such, I feel like that's probably something that resides a little more with their play style. But now we turn our attention. Bells, Rock, and Knockout is where we head next. This is a very mechanical mode. This is a very punishing mode. You get 1 life every single round. A little bit wild to see this ban stage here too. Kenji, Mo, no surprises, but a first overall pick of Sprout. This raises an eyebrow for sure. I saw you raise one.
Yeah, I mean, maybe even both eyebrows too, because it's just that surprising. Now, we did actually see some success on this brawler quite early on. In the group stage, we saw Semantic dominate game #1 of a match with this brawler, especially at mid. I think it also secures them a Rico if they really, really want it. RT is a safe selection. But I'm looking at this mid Sprout play. There is potential for it here. We also see that Gene ban. That keeps this one extra safe for Reply Totem. There's still ways to deal with it though. You can go a higher DPS thrower like Larry and Laurie if you want to. And Crazy Raccoon do have the potential to go for that. They have this last pick if they want to safely get that.
I think it makes a lot more sense why we see the bans that we got. Totem clearly wanted the Sprout first overall, assuming he wasn't banned. Maybe they go another thrower. But Brock for wall break, Gene for the pull, Ray for the teleport plus pull. All of those can handle Sprout or name your favorite thrower really well. So I think that was very calculated from them. A lot of the times when you're seeing these players practice, it's not the picks that matter the most, it's the bans that you really have to keep an eye out for. That's what these guys practice religiously. 2 brawlers on the other end, Gus, RT, both top 10 picks. RT's had about a 56% success rate this weekend, and I think he's one of the better brawlers for this game mode.
I will argue, though, that you can have a lot of good pieces and not make a good puzzle. What I see here for Crazy Raccoon, it's not really leaning in any direction, and this is also sort of their style. They go for flex picks. They go for things that are going to keep the draft pretty flexible, not lock them into a certain play style early on. And Reply Totem now, with this Bell selection, should be able to shut down anything too tanky by landing a mark. I also see potential for the bounce shot to get some value out here, even into an enemy sharpshooter, something like Piper, for instance. Rico, this is what the Sprout was for. Sprout is so good into Rico, and this is iChaos's comfort zone. We saw just what he was capable of on this brawler just yesterday.
He's comfortable with it. It's been super successful. 73% win rate this weekend so far. Disgusting. At a professional level, that is an unbelievable amount, especially considered he's being played 11 times so far. And part of that win rate, of course, is going to be because iChaos has played him multiple times. But at some point, do you not just ban the guy? Do you not just throw him out? This is a good response into that, though. I like the Barley pick in particular to Bell and Rico. Traditionally, throwers do really well into sharpshooters and Rico since he can't get around those walls so easily.
I think Crazy Raccoon's approach here is going to be, hey, let's spam all of the Barley gadgets right off the beginning. We're going to secure mid, and that is how we're going to get control. It's going to have to work. It's going to be real, real tough into the Sprout. The outrange, not quite an out DPS, and Barley has the better hypercharge, but you got to earn it, and you do not have a range advantage here.
Face off in the mid to start set number 3. A very pivotal one in this matchup. Totem could do the unthinkable, take a lead and be a set away from a grand finals here in 2024. On the other end, Crazy Raccoon are just trying to take care of business. They know how formidable of a foe they have on the other end. After all, this is their 4th year in a row playing against them.
Just slow, controlled lane play. This is what Crazy Raccoon want. Into these brawlers, though, it's still going to be quite a bit of a challenge. We'll see Tampo actually the first one to get aggressive. Feeds a super to Maori, and here comes the Barley gadget to keep everyone alive. Moya also reduced to pretty low HP, and Tensai's feeling the heat as well. But note the Reply Totem are actually quite backed up. We'll see Shitetampo now forced onto mid. He doesn't mind. He'll send Tensai over to the right side to contest Maori. It's still a bit of a mystery as to what exactly is going to happen once his poison closes everyone in. But by the looks of things, with Moya hitting all these shots on the left side, it looks a little gruesome for Reply Totem.
The in-game has begun. Herbal Tonic on the ground and a castle being built right hand in. iChaos releases the super. Tensai doing the same. It's back and forth. CR grabbed the first, but they need the last. Moru falls, and CR grab an opening round.
Every single member of each team was pretty much in the poison. They did not want to go over to that mid. They know that Maori's going to have a huge advantage over there if they all close in together. Maori's equipped with a hypercharge if he needs to stay alive or get some bonus damage. And he also has this wall to block off an aggressive Shitetampo. iChaos isn't quite able to take advantage off of this. Neither team is really having any success of combining and synergizing on any of these lanes either. But here comes the hypercharge. It's a free mark for Maru on the back left. Very ideal into that RT. Huge damage on Tensai. He's forced all the way back. Throws out an emergency last call to keep himself alive. And Maori on the right side also tries to secure a kill, but is forced ultimately to back up.
Shitetampo, I can't believe he stayed alive right there. The jukes were unbelievable. It's so hard to bring any of these three gentlemen down. A perfect marker onto Moya as this fog starts to close into. Battle on the left-hand end. Long range, sharpshooters. A cutoff on the right. There's just enough of an opening. No, a reset of the wall. Herbal Tonic on the ground. Shots from iChaos in the mid. And Mari reevaluating. They're looking at Shitetampo now. They know he's a threat. They gotta bring him down. Heals going in. Hypercharge galore. And it's CR holding on. Tensai survives. Game 1 for the Apex #1.
What a challenging moment for iChaos. In the last moment of that round, he had a hypercharge as Rico, and it all sort of went off into the ether, didn't impact anyone. And that's due to Crazy Raccoon's positioning. They stayed on these lanes, they did not enter mid. Reply Totem didn't really have any targets to approach at that point. Reply Totem off to the races once again. They've actually backed Crazy Raccoon all the way into mid. An early pickup for Totem. What a disaster for Crazy Raccoon.
Reply Totem have to capitalize now. In a 3v2 at a professional level, it's a must-win situation. You're already down a game, and now you're up in brawler count here too. Shitetampo low HP, and he gets tagged up again. Full defensive stance for CR. I wouldn't be surprised if they play for the fog.
Shitetampo just wants his super. Moya could be much of the same. As long as he can deny the hypercharge, he's looking pretty good. But every single member of Reply Totem's draft has a hypercharge that they can earn another takedown onto Shitetampo. Maru's looking for this. iChaos knows that his hypercharge is the most valuable, and Moya is intent on not feeding at all. Ultimately, he must as he falls. Reply Totem are up by 1 round. Excellent position for them. No hypercharges available to either side just yet, though.
I think that was a pretty big fumble from CR, to be quite honest with you. Tensai goes down early, and Shitetampo makes the choice to dive in there to try and maybe charge his super. Instead, though, he fed iChaos, and all 3 members of Totem were able to get their supers. There's the first one, but it's a whiff. This is a big one for CR to miss.
A near miss for iChaos, too, but at least he cycled his hypercharge. We know that he's about halfway there at this point. On the right side, note that Shitetampo is marked. It's going to be just 3 shots from this bell. Now, he does have a super to keep himself alive as well. It's a thing worth noting. But so far, basically a stalemate over here. Shitetampo now pops the super for the bonus damage and an early takedown onto iChaos.
Oh, and he goes for a 2-piece too. Shitetampo insistent on this clown pin, and he's making a circus of this yet. Quite the act here as Crazy Raccoon responds.
Dangerous, though. Maru can mark the RT, just gonna have to guess the lane that he's placed on. Could ideally be on that left side. It's a good thing that he hits this hyper on a Shitetampo. Cannot line up any of those follow-up shots, though. Shitetampo just shrugging off every single one and backing up Bell on the right lane.
Maru in trouble on the right-hand side. Has to take a breather here. A battle of the throwers on the left, and of course, main man iChaos in the mid. Just looking for these bounce shots. Things getting quiet on both fronts here. Everybody's still releasing shots, but not equating to much at all. It's going to come down to the fog once again, I fear.
Mari's got this mid blocked off too. We see Tensai in with a super aggressive super, and actually manages to split things up. We'll see a Sprout Wall recovered as well by Maori. It's Poison bound to start closing in soon. Hypercharge out from Maori. An aggressive super pops out Moya. He's so vulnerable, he's gonna need to channel all the dodges in the world to survive over here. Tensai keeps him up with a gadget. That's 1, 2, 3 for Crazy Raccoon. They secure set 3.
They had no business winning that one. None at all. Pure mechanics. They dictate their own game. Now, this wasn't any crazy draft picks. This wasn't a Draco from yesterday. But goodness gracious, that man should have gone down. Shots being lobbed at him. Rico bounce shot. This is iChaos's most well-known, iconic brawler. And these fellas came to play. This is a full-on battle between two of the best.
Crazy Raccoon, they just refuse to get hit over here. They play at max range as much as they can. The optimal matchups, sometimes a consideration, a lot of times not. They simply dodge the shots and they stay in position. We saw a moment ago, Shetampo actually get a super to take advantage of iChaos's positioning. Once he was marked up by RT, that is when he pounced. He knew to pop the super on himself for the bonus damage and secure the kill. Check this out. 5 kills apiece for Tensai and Shetampo. Moya many times actually kept at range on his lane, backed up by Maru on this belt.
Outside of one mistake in round number 1 of game 2, these guys dominated. I mean, 5-5-2, it wasn't even close in the kill count. In such a mechanical mode, I would kind of expect CR to be ahead in that one. But we got plenty of game left. I mean, I'm impressed with Totem. That wasn't their best showing, but again, if they can channel that energy that they had in set number 1, and they're certainly gonna have to get their fan base up and going again. Here we go, dueling Beetles, Hot Zone, where we head next.
All about control over here. But in many cases, you can just run it down because the goal is not to get kills on the enemy team like we saw in Knockout. It is to simply exist within the radius. So high health brawlers can be an absolute benefit over here. Reply Totem probably going to be leaning more in that direction. Crazy Raccoon, if they can enforce the series of 1v1s, everyone getting their own lane, then they absolutely will. They have this first pick over here. Can be thinking of a mid selection as well. Reply Totem with their last pick are going to be considering something similar. Byron is a first selection out here from Crazy Raccoon that's going to enable an aggressive lane and can also lob the super over walls to deal with something like a thrower or something more short range.
Let's try and read the story of what these bands are telling us, right? I see Lou Band, I see Surge Band, I see Gale Band, and they picked a comfort brawler and one that aids tank. They want to get aggressive, right? They get rid of 2 of these 3 best tank counters, and it's something that's one of the best at supporting those tanks. I feel like they're maybe looking for the Frank, the Daryl, whatever it is. It's stolen by the other end, but keep your eyes out. I think by removing these, though, it just got a whole lot more interesting because now Totem can get away scot-free with better Frank matchups.
Well, Totem have shown us that they can run this Frank into counters and still succeed. The Cordelius is open here if they want to use it. Can be used also into the thrower selection by Crazy Raccoon, and I honestly think that a high DPS thrower can really stave off this Frank, something like a Dynamite, but it would be quite uncharacteristic from Crazy Raccoon. That brawler is almost never picked in APAC. Okay, this is unusual. So Reply Totem are going to be going for Jesse. Now, this one's unusual because since Crazy Raccoon have a thrower open, they will be able to annihilate this turret once it is placed down and completely counter the Jesse. I think Reply Totem are basically begging CR to go for a thrower here.
It's really interesting. I think that Jessie has kind of slowly faded away, right? We haven't seen a lot from her recently. I don't know if I've personally seen her one time this weekend. Definitely not a popular choice. It is a hypercharge. Scrappy the turret puts a little pressure, especially on those indestructible walls. It's a lot to handle. Colette, just an intuitive answer, right? It just makes sense. You see the big man Frank, you go for what is probably left of the best tank counters in the game. Now I really want to know what CR are doing with this final selection, though. Byron's a perfectly fine brawler. If you don't go aggressive, I think it's okay. I mean, it's not like it's going to be a disaster of a comp. He's a pretty good brawler inherently, but I just feel like he's at his best when you pair him with something that's really high HP. Melody. Not what I expected, but it's a very good brawler in those fellas' hands.
They do like to use this Melody as an aggro brawler because in most regions of the world, in most players' hands, we see this used to just damage a high safe, a completely idle target, and run around it, get the most damage you possibly can. It's tough to line up these nodes as they travel around you in a circle. So it's going to be a difficult execution, but this is what Crazy Raccoon as a squad are known for. So if you're Totem over here, what are you really considering? You have a tank across the way staring you down. You have a Byron that's going to provide support Cordelius. I think Totem have pretty much committed. They knew that they wanted to try and bait a thrower on the side of Crazy Raccoon. They didn't. They still got to stick with their plan.
Cordelius worked out pretty darn well for iChaos on the opening set. They lost 2 after that, and then they bring back the Shadow Man. It's going to be a really tough one here. They're putting all their faith in this brawler selection here. They're taking on Crazy Raccoon with 3 of their most well-known brawlers. It's do or die here for EMEA's number 6 seed. Crazy Raccoon up 2-1 here as we enter set 4.
And they're off. Reply Totem already looking for that initial control. They're going to push Maori around the left side. Early takedown on Moye. iChaos now with the gadget forward to try and take the down. On to Tensai. Stetampo falls. And Reply Totem assume mid-control.
Complete control of this map, and now they've got Frank sitting comfortably. iChaos can press against these walls. He loves being up close and personal with these guys. A hop and a skip away. iChaos survives. Another takedown for him. Here goes Shitampo dancing down the middle of the map. Byron multitasking alongside him, and somehow Maori wins. No time spent by CR until right now on this hot zone.
iChaos now sending Tensai to the realm. It's going to keep him away. Even gets a takedown too. Stetampo trying to get this takedown as well. Onto Maru, consistently rushing down this Jesse, who's completely defenseless in close range. Maru now has a hypercharge, but he's kept low by Moya and Tensai in tandem. Crazy Raccoon are asserting their dominance here at mid. Stetampo cannot be stopped against this Jesse.
CR climbing back up. Such a hot start for Reply Totem. Here comes a hypercharge to try and suffice the pushback there. Maori in an inconvenient location, but he gets the shot off. It's a trade. Jesse turret now placed against this wall, and once again, CR going to be tested.
That's a 10K turret. It's going to be a serious issue for Crazy Raccoon. Tensai is going to have to close around the left side if he wants to make it work. Has a hypercharge at his disposal. Ideally hits Maori while using it. Hypercharge for iChaos. Takedown. Reply Totem look invincible over here. Crazy Raccoon can't possibly stop them. And Reply Totem keep themselves alive. Game 1. Totem.
Fist bumps all around, and iChaos once again demanding help from this crowd. They need all the support they can get. They know the strength of the opponent that lies on the other side of them, and they have yet to take them down. It's been a long time coming, but Reply Totem are 1 game away from seeking revenge.
This looks like a draft diff for Totem, and Crazy Raccoon have been staring down the barrel of the draft for as long as we can really remember. They've struggled on this so many times, but the mechanics is where they execute. Stetampo with the team wipe to put Crazy Raccoon in the lead off of game number 2 start.
Oh, he pilots that devilish brawler so well. Why don't we just take one of the best mechanical players in the world and give him unlimited mobility? Here he goes again, right hand in, prime position here as Chaos removes from the map. Maru left all alone, and CR exploding with percentage points.
Totem are getting staggered out here. They're filing out 1 by 1 when they need to be going 1 by 3. They'll join forces once again, everyone waiting for Maori to rejoin the fray. Has a super at his disposal. Stetampo sees a weakness on the left side, gets a takedown onto Maru. iChaos now returns to the bushes to try and keep Stetampo out of their defenses. But it doesn't seem very possible. Tensai with a hypercharge and a super out, cycles it. Maori looks for the stun. Nothing, empty-handed, and not even on the gadget either.
Big misses there from Maori. Now they've torn open their walls. Colette, Byron, easy shots. A connection there from Moya. They're slowly climbing away. Totem finally retake though. iChaos in positioning on this right-hand side. A big-time Scrappy, still staying alive. Desperation trying to heal that thing up, but it's not enough. Crazy Raccoon with 1 good push could take this second game.
Stetampo in, taken down by Maru. He's still alive. Tensai taken down in transit. Reply Totem trying to take this back, and they can get a super down for Maru. That's a great start. Maru on the left side, bit of a suboptimal matchup, gonna go for the hypercharge, breaking open all of these walls. Moya completely overextended on the right side, but Maru's in between a rock and a hard place. Here's a super down from Moya for the kill confirm. iChaos looking for all the dodges in the world. It doesn't look very possible. Maru taken down. Reply Totem have no options left. And Crazy Raccoon still dashing around on the point. It's 3% separating them from victory. Moya sticks around and sends them to match point.
It's time to take a deep breath if you're Reply Totem. You're staring at a beast on the other end. One that you haven't conquered for 3 years now. Will they let the demons of their past get the best of them here? Reply Totem now on their last life.
Mary going for the lane switch. Last time he went left, now he's going right. Easy swap for Crazy Raccoon as they send Tensai over to the right side. Early pickup on iChaos spells doom for the first push from Reply Totem. Mary once again getting targeted by Stetampo. Excellent counterplay from Moye and Tensai to eliminate the Frank on the left. A slow on a Moye. He's a dead man now as Mary stays alive, and iChaos now has the super to keep Tensai away.
That was a great super too. Tensai removed from the equation, and iChaos survives. Now they're going to take about 10% on this. Maori chasing down Moye, knows this is no good once Tensai returns. That is a matchup he is trying to stray away from.
Stetampo once again looking for Mauru. An easy kill. Instead goes for Maori. Now Mauru's defenseless. Stetampo and Moye combined to isolate any options of escape and a complete pinch. Now Reply Totem regroup for another attempt. 3v3, iChaos takes down Stetampo in the realm. Here comes the hypercharge turret out. Tensai can't take it down. He cycled the super and has a hypercharge for the next push. But now Reply Totem are surging ahead in percentage.
They gotta hold the line though. This is what Stetampo does best. When back's against the wall, he relies on the two fingers by his side, and it's ZR climbing up once again.
Stetampo looking for the kill on iChaos. Maori now returns to the battle. Big damage on Stetampo and all the wall break in the world. Moye gets a takedown. Reply Totem are counting up to 100 and a Tensai with a hypercharge. iChaos still trying to stay alive on the point. It's 3% left for Reply Totem. Can they do it?
It comes down to this here. CR in prime position to hold on. It's a major comeback. And for their last trick, the Mechanical Wizards will make Totem disappear.
Reply Totem, Maori and Mauru, staring down Stetampo for the 4th year in a row. They thought they could forge their own path. The Italian duo thought that all roads led to Rome, but they forgot one thing, that their path will always lead to Crazy Raccoon, who now ascend once more to the grand finals to reclaim the crown they lost.
Absolutely insane. Stetampo on this brawler, I said it before this match even started. I was looking out for it on the 5th set. Screw it. Set 4 it is. They ended it right here, right now. Things got scary here. In this game number 2, Reply Totem took a lead, a major one. It was a back and forth the whole way. You could tell Reply Totem deserved to be here. They fought against Crazy Raccoon so well. iChaos, phenomenal on this Cordelius. Having the extra spawner was great, but they did it their way. I'm not sure that anybody on the planet can deal with these guys when they're comfortable and at their best.
Reply Totem were so close to sending us to a set 5 in changing history, but it happened the same way it just about always has. In a close 3-1 matchup, let's take a look. Stetampo, what an executioner for the squad. He knew his target. He took down Mauru time and time again, but iChaos really did put his best foot forward here on the Cordelius, looking to assassinate Moye at any possible chance, and also take down Tensai to pave the way for Maori to really succeed on this Frank. Nearly did it in the end. He was the last member remaining on that point for Reply Totem. 3% is what separated us from a set 5 in this series.
It's unbelievable. I mean, the World Finals we've had this year, I knew were going to be the most competitive ever. I didn't think that every team, especially one with the mechanics, the skill level of Crazy Raccoon, would be pushed to their absolute limit. Stetampo, MVP here. He was phenomenal on that melody. I mean, he's always phenomenal, but now he has an opportunity to secure his 2nd World Finals. That is a crazy thing to think about.
He's made it to the Grand Finals 3 times now, and he's made it once with his teammate Tensai. He's made it once also with his teammate Moye, his best friend as well, I should add. Now the whole squad joined together. They advanced beyond that top 4 finish from last year, into the grand finals this time. Can they reclaim the throne? They're going to have to take down some new faces around the grand finals block in order to do so.
What a crazy grand finals we have. I don't think anybody would have been too surprised if Pick Crazy Raccoon when this year started. But Humble, such a ragtag group of guys. All three members, kind of individuals, finding their way in this game. They come together, they become the EMEA #1 seed, and now they have an opportunity to do something special, something that Semantic's special career has never quite achieved.
So much at stake as well here in the grand finals. We're all set for the final match of the Brawl Stars World Finals. Don't go away. We're going to be back with the ultimate match on the other side of this break.
The 2024 Brawl Stars World Finals are brought to you by ESL, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Once upon a brawl, a new evil emerged. A handsome young minstrel who once charmed crowds, now fallen to darkness, his smile but a shroud. A mischievous feline, known for his cute paws, now a master thief, unlocking chests and doors. A healing guitar and a friendly face, now a flaming skull, kindness gone without a trace. A delicious cookie baker, one of the best. Now a haunted castle, a ghoulish guest. This automaton once served juice. Now with his sword, your head he'll make loose. A knight turned into a nightmare. Nani and Peep now only want to scare. A fairy tale ending? No! A scary tale beginning!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the lounge. We figured that as the players get prepped and ready for the grand finals, we would give you a little tour of the lounge here at Superfest. It is one of the coolest hangout spots that I have ever seen at any esports event, combining all of the vibrant scenery that all of Supercell's creations have to offer. Right behind me, you will see the Boom Beach Tiki Bar, nestled into the corner of the lounge. A nice little chilled hangout spot where you can sit and you can watch the event instead of being in the chaos of the main stage in the arena, although that is the fun place to be, of course. As we continue moving forward past this awesome shield statue, we enter the Clash of Clans hangout spot, combined with the Archer Tower behind me and fans of all of our amazing teams that are featured here at the Brawl Stars World Finals. And I bumped into, it's Legs.
I can see you there. That's amazing.
How's it going? You good, man?
I'm just doing good, man. This is an amazing event going on right now.
Now, okay, aside from the fact that we have the awesome World Finals going on, you know, we have the ability to kind of merge together all of these titles and all these creators that are kind of floating around. What's been your favorite part so far of this event?
Easily, the fans that are here. They are going absolutely nuts in there. We were just underneath, and they're pounding on the floor for their teams. It's amazing.
We've got more fans joining us over here. But you know what? It's actually been a pretty tough time as a Tribe Gaming Brawl Stars fan, right? You know, just being edged out for their World Finals spot, okay? But you guys have so much love across all of your titles. So what do you think is the secret to having such an amazing presence in across all of these Supercell titles like Tribe Gaming?
I mean, they got me, don't they? No, I'm joking. It's like, Tribe's like a family, and I think a lot of people can, you know, want to be part of that. They can relate to that. They can, you know, they see that we're cool over here at Tribe, and you guys come up over here, tribe.gg. You guys can follow us.
Now, you know, we all know that Brawl Stars has had the most phenomenal year so far, right? It really has been a record-breaking year. And for you guys as well as content creators, and you know, the esports as well, everyone that's coming into it is absolutely stacked. Have you felt like a knock-on effect as a creator of Brawl Stars' success just booming this year?
Sure, if the game's doing good, everybody's doing good. And all of these players out here, you know, they didn't start yesterday, download the game, and end up here at the World Finals. They've been playing for years, and bringing all of these new players in, getting them into the esports scene, maybe one day they're going to be in there.
Indeed, maybe they will be. Now, before I let you go, we've got to ask you, We've got 2 teams left in the fight for the championship. Who do you think is going to take it all? We've got Humble and we've got Crazy Raccoon.
Like half the people are going to hate me right now, but you know what? My head says Crazy Raccoon, but my heart says Humble with my boy Samantha. You guys go get it.
Okay, you've heard it here from Lex. Thank you so much for joining me in this interview. Enjoy your little hangout spot. I'm going to keep moving because everyone at home is wanting to see what's going on in the lounge here at Superfest and as Clash of Clans merges into Clash Royale. Look at this amazing scenery that's been made. You know what? Hats off to all of the artists that worked on this because it looks phenomenal. That LED waterfall is just so amazing. I'm going to keep walking because you know what? I see someone extremely special ahead of me. And as the scenery again bleeds across into the Brawl Stars area. Some of you might recognize it because on day 1, we had the group stage and this was the B-Stream area. But I've got the game lead from Brawl Stars. It is Frank joining me here. Frank, how are you feeling, man? How's things? Are you coping well? Because this is day 3 of the Brawl Stars World Finals.
You know, man, my heart. I'm not the youngest man anymore, and after the first match yesterday, I was already feeling like, oof, anyone know CPR around me?
Now, more importantly, how are your predictions going so far?
I am proud to say that I'm at 100% correct predictions so far. Yesterday, I was sweating a little bit. Zeta, you know, Zeta and SK was, oof, a rough one.
Wasn't it? It was a rough one, wasn't it? Now, how awesome is it to have all these 3 Supercell esports under one roof? Because as someone who's so ingrained, of course, in Brawl Stars, but seeing everything come together here and all the creators here as well, how important is it to you to have all 3 under one roof?
Yeah, I mean, it's really a cool event. Like the first time having all the 3 fandoms together in the same place and seeing the enthusiasm. You know, there's a bunch of people who sat here since lunch watching Clash of Clans. They're still watching Brawl now. It's just amazing. Super thankful to our community. Super thankful how it's going down here.
It really is amazing. We've already crowned 2 champions today, and our next one is just around the corner. Now, I have to talk to you about your roadmap. 2025, you made a really big announcement that ranked within game is going to kind of bleed into becoming a pro, like the path to pro. Can you kind of break it down, maybe for a few people at home that are watching that haven't seen the video yet, but also just to kind of give us a clearer overview of what to expect?
Yeah, I mean, most of the stuff you see in the video, right? And a lot of things are still work in progress, but we really want to make sure that ranked is like the place to go where you compete, where you can develop your skills, and ultimately giving you a new path into Brawl Stars Championship.
Well, you've also had a record-breaking year for Brawl Stars, okay? It's been absolutely amazing. The game is performing so well. You must be so proud. But also, you know, I feel like something I need to talk to you about is the esports itself. Does the future look bright for Brawl esports is what I'm asking, tentatively?
You know, it was an okay year for us, and all things considered. That's the most finished answer I can give. No, Brawl esports, I think, you know, this year showed that this is a commitment from our side, and next year is going to be bigger, better, and more bombastic.
Bigger, better, and more bombastic, but he's keeping his cards close to his chest. I like that, very on brand. Frank, thank you so much for joining me in this interview, and we're going to continue over this way as we make our way through the B-Stream area and also the hangout area for Brawl Stars. I need to give you a quick inkling into someone that I've just spotted over here in the corner of my eye. Looked very sheepishly hanging over by our Shelly statue. Spen, how you doing, mate? You well?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm always all right. It's all good. I'm running on fumes at this point, Spen. Now, previous world champion, our first ever world champion as well at Busan. You've got a lot of experience in this realm, and of course, for the people, the players who are about to step onto the main stage, you know, what are the feelings? What are the emotions going through you before you step out onto the stage for a grand final?
I mean, it depends on what type of person you are. I was quite nervous before going on stage, but I think once you kind of take in the occasion, once you get to the stage, a lot of players are just fully locked in, especially the finalists that are on right now. So I think they're excited. Both teams look locked in today.
They do, don't they? Now, do you have any advice for any up-and-comers or competitors at the moment about, like, you know, getting into the Brawl Stars esports scene and, you know, how to kind of cope with it emotionally as well? Because imagine all these people screaming your names or, you know, screaming for the opponents when, you know, you're in the middle of a game. It's quite, you know, daunting.
I mean, the biggest tip for me is just have fun with it. I just played esports tournaments with my friends, and a lot of it just came down to us having fun, you just got to get into it. You got to keep trying. It doesn't matter if you fail. All the failures just lead up to learnings. You know, you're never just going to turn out to be the best player in the world straight away, right? Like, when we all started, we all sucked, but eventually, like, eventually just get better and better. So just have fun with it. That's the biggest tip. Treat your teammates like they're your brothers, essentially.
Yes, treat your teammates like their family. Now, you made that really cool and kind of seamless transition from Brawl Stars, esports player, to content creator. Content is booming, like we've just mentioned with the other guys. You know, Brawl Stars is growing, and it's really quite an incredible thing to see. Any advice as well for content creators looking to push into that scene as well? Any tips and tricks from Spen?
I mean, the biggest tip for me is you just got to start. So I wanted to do content for like 2-3 years, but I was so scared to fail. You just can't be scared to fail. You just got to put out content. No one's going to be amazing straight away. Like, I was cringy for years. So like, you just eventually get better and better. And yeah, just again, have fun with it. Just do content that you enjoy, or else you're never going to like make it far. If you get bored of your own content, it's not going to be that great. So
don't be afraid to do it. Just dive right in. Spen, thank you so much for joining me in this interview. The Brawl Stars World Finals, the grand final, is just around the corner. But come with me. Sorry, Spen, I'm going to walk across you. We're going to go over this way as we exit out of our Brawl Stars area. We enter into our heyday hangout area. Very picnic-esque, picturesque as well. And we've got some amazing fruit stands, veg stands as well. I saw a lot of people over the course of the last 3 days sitting here, having their lunch, of course, but it just looks amazing. Aesthetically pleasing, I think, is the right thing to say. And of course, people here buying their snacks, and as we get over here, towards the other side of the lounge, we get to our Squad Busters archway. And this, my friends, is where we exit out of the lounge and we make our way to the main stage. Thank you so much for joining me in this lounge tour here at Superfest. We're going to head over to the casters to continue Super Sunday.
Thanks, Barney, for taking us on a walk through Superfest here for 2024. It's a great atmosphere, and there's something for everyone out here. And if you're a lover of esports and you want to see the highest level of Brawl Stars competition, we have something coming up for people, I think, here on the mainstream.
Very much indeed. I'm very excited for what is to come. I don't know whether you knew, but I used to be a guitarist back in the day.
You're a guitarist?
Yeah, it's first for you probably hearing of this.
Oh,
I've never mentioned that at all backstage, not once.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
You know.
We're very excited, of course. Before we end up jumping, of course, into our grand finals matchup, we have a special treat for you all. You might be aware of it, but it is my distinct pleasure to present to you the Grammy-nominated power metal sensation, Dragon Force.
darkness in the eyes of broken dreams. Outside of the wasted and torn, a land of tears still remain. Soldiers of destiny calling, the border will rise up again. Gather the forces of people and fight to the end. Cry thunder, sword in his hand, titans of justice, feel every stand. Cry thunder, longing for land, savior of nations, freedom of man. Cry thunder, sword in his hand, warriors defending one final stand. Cry thunder, longing for land, blessed by the union, freedom of man.
Woo! Super fast, how's it going? You can go louder than that. Super fast, how's it going? We are super happy to be here at this World Finals, and I gotta tell you, man, are you guys excited for the final match? All right, me too. So for this next song, we actually wrote about a brawler. And when we say his name, I want you guys to sing it to the loudest you can, okay? Let's try this right now. Draco! 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 Let's go!
Say Draco! I'm sorry, shall be told.
see those hands in the air. Hey, hey.
Wanna go with
Thank you so much, Superfest. Thank you so much. We're so happy to be here.
Well, folks, that was Dragon Force. Great to hear them live in person here at Superfest, and no better way to end it with Through the Fire and Flames. I wonder how many people out there, how many Brawl fans are familiar with Guitar Hero and fighting through that game, getting to the boss level and having to learn that song. What a time.
Every Shredder stream, honestly, I've had a blast. It's taken me back many, many good years now. I'm sure as well, Drew from the community manager side of Brawl, absolutely loving every second. I saw him there with his Draco shirt earlier, and you can just tell that was his Christmas come early.
Nothing like seeing Herman Lee melt our faces in person. Well, let's bring it back a little bit here. The reason we're all here, of course, is to crown our 2024 Brawl Stars World Champion. And this grand final features a clash of EMEA and APAC once again. It's Crazy Raccoon versus Humble, the two teams that have made their way through quite the gauntlet arc.
Absolutely so. I mean, you know, it's deja vu all over again, isn't it, really? Unbelievable stuff. Honestly, for me, got to be up there as one of the best, if not the best, World Finals we've ever had. It's so close to cool. Realistically here, a 50-50 coin flip, if you ask me. I mean, it really is the battle of the best as far as I'm concerned.
That's right. And of course, we are clearing the musical instruments from the stage and preparing our competitors to sally forth and fight for glory. So in the meantime, we can head down to Banks and see what else is popping around the arena.
I wish I'd learnt a musical instrument growing up as a kid. That was unbelievable. What a performance, absolutely melting our faces. That is correct, Uber. Now, we're back in the lounge. Why are we back in the lounge? Well, I'll tell you, because we have one more thing to show you, and that is exactly where all of our local language casters are situated here at Superfest. 7 to be precise, and it is so incredible to have them all here mingling with us. Look, some of them are waving as well in the background. That is right. Our Brawl Stars local language casters absolutely bringing you all of the energy and all of the fun to all of those streams. So, we're going to go and chat with one of them. And we're going to do a really artistic transition while the camera goes around the other side of the table because we're so cool. What's up, guys? How's it going? Let's spud. Let's go. Let's go. The grand final is almost here. I am so excited. And we land at our German caster booth because we've got Sunny here, everyone. Sunny, how's it going?
Pretty well. I'm not German. I'm Swiss, but I'm still here.
I'm so sorry. You know what? Multilingual, and I absolutely love it. You know what? I've got to tell you, like, we've had so much fun here this entire 3 days of competition so far. But I've got to ask you, what's been your favorite match that you've witnessed, that you've casted over? What have you had the most fun with?
Honestly, that's a really tough one. From a casting standpoint, definitely the 2 games that Say Television delivered out, once against Crazy Raccoon, losing in the last match, Shooting Star, and then also against SK Gaming. The same exact story, Shooting Star again. The team is going to have nightmares about this single map, so they're going to need a doctor. Call me.
Nightmare-inducing. Oh, gosh. But I already spoken to Frank over there, didn't I, about his predictions. He's 100%. This guy, he knows it all, doesn't he? What about yourself? How are the predictions going for you?
I'm pretty ashamed. I'm worse than Frank. That hurts. I predicted SK Gaming today. I was hoping really they could take it home. At the same time, I'm really happy for Humble. They deserve it. Lucas Symantec and Boss definitely played it to the perfection. So I hope they're going to bring their A game again against Crazy Raccoon. It's not going to be an easy one.
It's definitely not. You know, you've mentioned it. It's the grand final. It's fast approaching as we're clearing the stage right now. I need your prediction. It's a 50-50 coin toss, so people in the chat might grill you if you get this one wrong. Just saying. Don't do it. I'm just saying. Right, Humble, Crazy Raccoon, what say you?
I have to go with Humble. Tensei already has 2 titles. City Tampo has 1. Don't hate me.
Are you in agreement?
Humble, I think also.
Ooh, we have a resounding Humble. The fans are around her as well. These local language casters are bringing you so much amazing energy, as you can already tell. But for now, we're going to head back over to our casters to continue Super Sunday.
Thank you, Barney. Great to hear from some of our local language casters down there. The faux pas of calling Sunny German, I'm sure is not one you're going to live down pretty quickly. But look, it's a global game. It's great to, of course, have all of you from around the world in their respective language streams joining us here. It's been a pleasure, and I tell you what, it's been popping off. Let's talk bracket. Let's get down to brass tacks, folks, because we still have a winner to decide. The road for Humble. First, it was NA's number 2 seed Pioneers. They absolutely battered them. That was not a close game.
It was a walkover. There's no other way to put it. Humble really left Pioneers in the dust. And then going in as well to the next matchup versus SK Gaming, they looked like they were looking comfortable. Some drafts that I wasn't even expecting, honestly. They are just, that's where they're excelling, in my opinion. Their drafts are out of this world. The Crazy Raccoon as well, that 3-2 to elevate. It came down to the wire in that final set of gem grab, and were just able to prevail. The most emotion we've already seen from a Crazy Raccoon celebration.
Shitampo did a victory lap around the arena, running full power. We didn't actually catch him on the main street, but there's a great photo of him just sort of running at it. I've got to say, Crazy Raccoon, in the lead up to this match, looked a little scrappier. Day one, it was, I mean, how you going? They had 2-2-1 wins. That first game against Elevate here in the top 8 as well looked a little questionable. But what we just saw from them against Reply Totem, I mean, you don't down the Broman Empire without being pretty clean behind the ears. They really look like they've hit another level. This is the team that has hoisted trophies before, that has brought glory to their region. And on the other side, it's such a compelling story because Semantic and Humble, that's a player we followed for years. Always hoped to see him reach this moment. He's tweeted after many disappointing losses how much it's hurt him, how tough it was. He even considered whether he would continue on with Brawl Stars. He has one more crack at it this year, built a fantastic roster around him. Now he has his chance to reach for that glory.
And you've got to remember, going into yesterday's games, Semantic had earned as many sets in day one as a third of what he's established in his entire career in the World Finals.
Sure.
So he's already absolutely just blowing his world record out of proportion. And with Boss coming into the mix and Lukey as well, again, that shining star from 2023. And it's just been a joy to watch this roster, a very unexpected roster at that, just excel so much. For Lukey, someone who's his first World Finals appearance, he is looking so at home.
So composed.
Yeah.
For his age, it's a rare thing to see in esports. And Humble are going to need to rely on every bit of that composure they can muster up against seasoned champions in their opponents. There's all predictions here. I've got to throw it out there. A lot of people we heard from the local language casters, from the German booth, they felt Humble would be the way to go. Arc and Ready Set have Humble in their books, and Arc, this would be a perfect run of predictions for you if this comes true.
I mean, there's a lot of pressure on the stage, but I feel like this is the most pressure I've ever been under on the casting desk. I'm 100% accurate with my predictions so far. If I get this right, this will be a record. We've never had this happen. So I really, really hope that I've got this one right. My faith is going with Humble.
And he'll never let us hear the end of it. Let's go, Crazy Raccoon, please. All right, it's time to get this party started. Let's head down to the arena and bring our teams out.
2 days ago, 12 teams set out to become Brawl Stars World Champions. And now we are just left with 2 in the fight. $1 million hangs in the balance. 1 best of 5 to claim your place in the Brawl Stars esports history books. It is time to meet your first grand finalist. APAC's very own Tensai, Shitampo, and Moya. They are Crazy Raccoon! We've met the unstoppable force. Now let's meet the immovable object for the final time. Entering to the main stage, Semantic, Lukey, and Boss. They are Humble!
Pretty straightforward stuff for Crazy Raccoon here, folks. Their mission, get Moya a championship. Get Tensai his third. This team, or most of it, have headlined Brawl Stars esports for years, and they've shown no signs of slowing down. Have they looked more fallible this year than ever? Yes. But they still made it to the grand final, going up against the upstarts, the young blood, the challengers in Humble, looking to bring yet another championship back to EMEA.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if Tensai is able to become a 3-time world champion? For Moye, his first, been chasing it for years, for Tambu to get 2. I mean, this would be such a story to resonate throughout Brawl Esports history. The region that has kind of dropped the trophy in previous years, but now trying their best to bring it back home. And this could be their redemption arc happening as we speak.
Yeah, frankly, last year, Crazy Raccoon just didn't look prepared against Zeta Division in that grand final match. They've lost to an Edgar pick in the very last set. They're a team who really thrived in an era before we had picks and bans at the start of a Brawl game, back when it was blind pick, but they had to adjust. And in order to do that, they brought in Coach Rely, a competitor in his own right in the past, to smooth that out and give them some great strategies to be going forward with. But on the side of Humble, this is a team that are ready to succeed in this era of Brawl Stars esports and this day of competition. Semantic, Lukey, and Boss, their final task awaits them. The final boss stares them down.
For Semantic, something that he spent his life chasing.
Hey!
His 4th World Finals. We got a legendary drop. Let's go! Captain Crow enters the arena.
Semantic at the helm of this team. In victory and in defeat, he's been all smiles.
Oh, we got second.
Okay, hang on. Can't use that one though, by the way.
No.
Don't be using that one.
Don't touch that one, boss.
Lukey's like, wait guys, I've got to get to mine. Legendary one. We'll check back in with him in just a moment here. Again, I hope you've been voting at event.brawlstars.com, because that legendary star drop could be yours, as well as a hypercharge if you get to 2,000 points. That's when we've been putting our predictions in. That, of course, is the place to be for your Brawl Stars esports action, and it has been all year, and it will be into the future. Here's your predictions one last time. 3 of us getting behind Crazy Raccoon, 2 of us getting behind Humble, and the fans at home supporting Humble. No surprise, we're in a European time zone. We are definitely in a home. It's a home field advantage, I think, for our predominantly German squad here.
I think as well, you got to consider the fact that many of those European teams that have fallen along the way will certainly be cheering behind Humble in this instance.
Yes.
And I think that is something which I didn't expect even coming into today. The Humble crowd is loud. It really, really is. During the SK Gaming match, a lot of the time I thought it was SK cheering. It was the Humble crowd, and Semantic already getting the round up. You love to see it.
He's worked for years to stand on the stage in a game like this. In the past, exiting World Finals so early on, never making it to day 3, never having a chance for it to be all about him. And still, he puts his 2 teammates ahead of him. He puts them forward. That's true leadership. To see that someone so young is impressive. Still a huge task to get at them. Can they maintain this composure? We've seen it. Players step onto the stage, they get carried away with that atmosphere. It detracts from their gameplay. This Humble team have to be absolutely locked in from the get-go.
I want to say as well, Semantic for me has been so impressive this year because in previous years, he's always been the loudest. And I think that some of the teammates along the way may have been affected a little bit by that. He's taken a step back this year. He's taken a great leadership role, and he's allowed himself to shout through his thumbs. Really has done so, and it's allowed players like Lukey to really shine. Players like Boss that have always had a bit of a stumble in their step along the way. 2022 for Boss, getting reverse swept by STMN and then not making even the LCQ last year. These are players that are really rising up in just a beautiful way. They have now made the grand finals. And also, when you look at the 2 kind of teams compared in their set win percentage, there's only 4% in it. 2 sets more were gained by Crazy Raccoon over the course of their monthly finals year. I mean, they are so closely matched. 3rd and 4th, respectively, throughout this competition in that regard.
Yeah, a couple things to look for in this series, as Crazy Raccoon are a team who really likes to prioritize max. We've seen it pick it up a ton of times. Why, by no means I think like a broken or overpowered brawler by any stretch of the imagination. It's familiar to them. It's comfortable to them. But some of those comfortable comps have been eclipsed by some of these new look approaches. And that's a very close prediction. Humble just edging it out here at 54. It's double swoosh up first in this best of 5 grand final.
Very, very close on the polls. As you'd thoroughly expect, we want no less for a grand finals. Double swoosh, the bands being in already. Classy, Mo, and Kenji. On the side of Crazy Raccoon, the Tara, the Surge, and the Kenji also. Both sides do not want to see any of that slice and dice. The coin toss available for then Crazy Raccoon, and the first pick coming in. Likely to be something of the aggressive kind of nature. Amber for that bush burn. Really quite an underrated one that I think is a good starting brawler. And that surge ban as well. I'm a big fan of that, as it's always a fantastic first brawler pickup.
Also, that mythic gear that now Amber has access to slow people down by a little bit when they're playing inside of her oil field. It's a big difference maker. It really makes it very scary. And this means Crazy Raccoon can actually control the right-hand side of the map a lot easier than they otherwise would be. There's a huge advantage to the opponent playing on that side, given they have the bush cover and can move up and get close. Otis here, coming out from Humble. Previously, we've really only seen this brawler on Brawl so far this weekend, due to his ability to shut down the ball carrier and render them incapable of taking a shot.
Who would have thought we would have gone from FUT Esports last year in the group stages to this very team? Semantic will definitely be having some recollections of that as this draft coming through. This is a man that understands the mind of Crazy Raccoon, and the drafts again today for Humble have been fantastic. Gene now coming in. It's a very safe pair of hands in that mid, and that's exactly what Crazy Raccoon are going to need to have themselves here. Jesse available, one of my kind of personal favorites, but certainly for Crazy Raccoon, they like their aggressive brawlers as well. Just in the how fantastic they've been on Melody. You can't really leave that in the hands of Tampo. It's open here. That's a bit of a concern.
Looked amazing in Hot Zone. It's also very viable when it comes to Heist. Melody can really chunk that safe down, provided she has the music notes. But Humble have a strong side laner in Otis, a consummate duelist, and they're going to pair it up with the Gene. It's going to be a penny here for Crazy Raccoon. Again, high damage brawler becomes a real nuisance late in the round once there's a turret developed to give you some map control and also keep the enemy gem carrier on the move.
I don't know whether I'm the biggest fan of that penny pick, to be honest. I mean, Gus was available as well, and it's quite a nice mid to have on this map, and the shielding can be handed over, but penny can work, absolutely so. And certainly with the Amber, that combination of burning down the bush and leaving the penny to be able to lock on more with the turrets. As Pearl comes in now for that lane control brawler, the Overcooked, of course, can just absolutely burn down immediately any opposition standing there. Big, tanky brute that Humble are going to have to take care of.
Yeah, it's a big deal, I think, as well, if you're putting your Pearl in a gem carrier position, because this dissuades Boss or whoever's on the Gene from actually using Magic Hand to hook the Pearl in. If you do that, you're liable to be blown up by that super. It's very, very scary. And with a hypercharge, it leaves a burning area around it when it gets popped. Squeak here to round out the composition for Humble. Some really interesting brawlers here. These two teams reaching into the last of their reserves in terms of their draft strategy to try and gain an edge.
Squeak has proved to be quite the menace over the course of the World Finals. I didn't mind it, but the question is, can they keep Crazy Raccoon at bay on the side of Humble? Because they're so aggressive by nature, and Pearl is going to be so difficult to manage on that lane side. Otis as well, sneaking in, it's just not necessarily still for me, one that I am a massive fan of, but that is the Brawl Belt. The thing that both of these two teams are looking to claim and hoist at the end of this matchup. The ultimate prize in the game.
Alongside $400,000, the lion's share of our $1 million prize pool. A pretty penny. Crazy Raccoon are no strangers to this kind of situation. They have been here so many times before, reaching grand finals in consecutive years. They're familiar with this, and they're also familiar with playing in what we might consider hostile territory. They've not really had opportunities to take championships in home territory. It's often been Europe for them here, often with a crowd getting behind their opponents. It's the same for Zeta Division last year, as it often has been. The moments from getting into the game here. There was a mild audio issue. It's been ironed out.
Every day Semantic will come to the dressing room and say, today we're going to lose. And it has not happened yet. Again, that modesty that's so crucial as a player in the pro circuit, shining through. Crazy Raccoon, they've taken definitely the closer of the journeys to get to this stage. But one thing I was saying to Semantic, very honestly, and very openly, was the fact that, yes, they've had 4 grand final appearances this year, but they were only able to lock in the 1 grand finals win back in June against Zeta Division, and that, for me, says they are very consistent, but also at the same time, not the greatest teams at really locking themselves in.
So, we have some brawlers in this game that have hypercharges that aren't allowed to be used. They came into the game a little bit earlier than was expected and weren't considered legal for World Finals. Now, I'm not calling him out, but Semantic plays with his super and hypercharge buttons slightly overlapping. So he doesn't have to stretch far, he can activate them both very quickly. He has to move his hypercharge button across the screen away from his super button. Otherwise, he's liable to use it by accident, and that would be a game loss were that to occur.
And that's been the case for other players as well, of course, throughout the World Finals. It makes a lot of sense to do so. We've not seen anyone be as bold to use that as any kind of BM yet. Can you imagine? Certainly, though, of course, many in the crowd cheering for Humble as they are also for Crazy Raccoon. Can't be far away now, and I cannot wait to see how this first set goes.
We walked into this year, especially over in the APAC region, seeing a ton of teams rise up, start to actually really put some pressure on Crazy Raccoon, a team in the past who took monthly final after monthly final in that APAC region in 2023. They were far and away the dominant team. We saw Rival Esports step up. Na'Vi even submitted a team and managed to win their first monthly final. They weren't able to make it far through LCQ, but the fact that they got there without even competing in that March monthly final at all says a lot about what they're able to do in that region. Coco Loco, another team that have been around for a while, mostly Hong Kong, as they come through and win themselves a monthly final. That region is treacherous. It is extremely deadly. We talk about how deep this EMEA region is, but Crazy Raccoon, whether they'd admit it or not, have really been forged by these up-and-coming teams all throughout the course of the year, and they've had to work their butts off to maintain that top spot.
Tensai's 5th World Finals, you know? I mean, for someone with that kind of level of experience, you don't get nervous in this position. For Shitampo, it's his 4th. For Moye, it's his 3rd. And certainly for Moya, chasing, you know, in the shadows of his teammates to gain that first title. He's been looking to achieve it for a few years now. Semantic, especially as a player that comes to mind as someone who's been chasing that dream for many years also. I'm just still mind blown by the fact that Luki in his first World Finals is in a Grand Finals. I mean, that is just something which just requires such a level of groundedness. To stay in control of your emotions, it's a rarity to see.
All right, Brawl Nation, make some noise for the last time we're getting in the game. It's a best-of-5 Grand Final between EMEA's Humble and APAC's Crazy Raccoon.
Gems will be sitting in the mid for a while until the control is there. And Tampo's already got a nice foothold of this right-hand side. There's 2 good placements from Boss for Smur over to that right-hand side. Tensai low here. Semantic getting some good spray damage and a nice fat splatter gadgets as well. Keeps him low, 300 HP. But Semantic's going to burn down in the meanwhile.
Okay, both side laners there, the Otis and the Ember respectively, using some area of effect to try and take control, but Tensai comes up. That's not the lane he's supposed to win here, but he's looking pretty scary. Tapped down, able to walk away and somehow goes 1 for 1 there. That is absurd.
It's unusual to see a Gene on the lane side as well as on this map. Normally the Gene takes the mid roll, but it's going to give Humble some options. Shitampo will find then Luki on that right-hand side and gets the pickup. Meanwhile, our gems are quite evenly split. 5 for Crazy Raccoon, 4 for Humble, and now 6 into the pockets as Shitampo moves into a more aggressive place on that right-hand side, but a magic hand going to nowhere. You got to land those, you don't get many in the game.
No, it's going to take Luki a while to build up another one, and the gem carrier is down. Luki, of course, can scoop these up quite happily, but Boss is that dedicated mid-tier. Semantic loses out, getting against Tensai. 2-time world champion, really showing what he's made of here. And Boss is barely clinging on. That penny turret also providing a virtual 4th player here for Crazy Raccoon. It's too much pressure.
Boss walking forwards, and there was going to be obviously a takedown there. You've got to be a bit more reserved with your positioning power. All 3 members of Crazy Raccoon just sitting back full HP. They're waiting for the Humble push, and it's taking a time to get there, but with no utility, no pull for Luki. I don't really kind of see what they can do here realistically. The match is over, and it goes to a Crazy Raccoon. A slow and sluggish start here for Humble.
A critical error for Luki. He lets a magic hand go, aimed at nothing in particular. Doesn't have it available to try and put pressure on Crazy Raccoon's gem carrier. That is a slow start from Humble.
Let's see how they fare this time around. Going in, and Semantic taking that right-hand side. Now going to try his luck with Shitampo, moving Luki into the mid with the Gene and placing Boss with that squeak on the left-hand side. I like these adaptations. They're quite smart, and already you can see how Tensai's forced back. Shitampo lower as well, as a result of being unable to shoot as many shots. The pinch between Lukey and Boss is good. Now that left-hand side is cleared up.
Great pressure. We've had a complete lane assignment. Lukey is now the gem carrier. And Boss has been quite a nuisance here for the Amber of Tensai to deal with. Meanwhile, Semantic, it's a tough battle up against the Pearl, but Otis, one of the few brawlers that can really do it, especially when that super is available. Tensai again, eating a lot of this AoE damage. Super thrown out there by Boss. He does get some purchase, and again, the Amber drops.
Tampo lurking as Semantic is healing. On that right-hand side, good gadget as well, and Semantic surely here going to burn down. He's going to place a lot of pressure onto Lukey, splashing the magic hand, but realistically, he can't even think about using it yet. He needs support. Boss going in on Chitampo that left-hand side, gets Tensai eradicated. Chitampo low now, grouping up with Moye. This magic hand needs to have the support of his teammates on the side of Humble. And if Moye is going to be seeing it coming, he's going to place a Salty Barrel for sure.
Yeah, Moye down. Oh, the head! Salty Barrel comes down though. Moye's had to use that gadget, but it gets him out alive. Lukey needs at least a 2 versus 1 after he lands a hook to guarantee the gem steal.
Lukey now trying to earn it back. So much oil on the map on this left-hand side. Boss is really restricted as where he can go. Lucas going to be cautious there, just evading it. These magic puffs healing will be quite crucial. Hypercharge for Boss going in. Moye's in trouble. The gems are down and Chitampo is low. He's eradicated. Humble, collect all the goods and get on that countdown, running back into the spawn. It's going to require a big reset here from Crazy Raccoon.
That is huge from Boss. He and Semantic can simply stand forward here and block passage for the rest of Crazy Raccoon. Humble, with the adaptation, with the lane switch, have gotten themselves a game in this first set.
Great stuff from Humble. You've got to hand it to them. They were not in that first game, not mentally, not on the map, and the adaptations worked out beautifully. Now the question is, Crazy Raccoon know what's coming. So how are they going to fare this time around in what is one game apiece?
So they keep this lane assignment for Tensai. Now he needs to retool his mindset to deal with this very annoying squeak. And does Moye get swapped out to the right side? Salty Barrel used already. Semantic starting to become a little bit of a bully on the right side, but Chitampo surges forth at just the right moment. But no gems have yet been picked up by Crazy Raccoon. Lukey has 4 to his name.
Boss is doing great work on this left-hand side, but now the pinch is there between Moye and Tensai. Cleared up so immediately there. 4 gems for Humble, though they're playing a much better job in that mid-roll. Semantic and Luke hunkering down, the mute available there for Semantic also. And if he places it at just the right time, even a Pearl is going to go down so swiftly as Boss, tapping that left-hand side, can now move forwards. He's got super to hand as well.
Nuke connects, Chitampo under pressure. Semantic can 1v1 anybody with that super connecting. Oi, okay, Magic Hand gets the turret. They can now at least clear that out of the way. But Moye will have super available again soon. Semantic, all ships in the night. They run into each other, and he hit the mute somehow. Here's a countdown for Humble and Crazy Raccoon are penniless.
How did Semantic manage to land that as opposed to the barrel? Nonetheless, Humble have got the lead, running back to the spot, but the gems are dropped. It'll be a reset. They're going to play it slow and patient. They get the gems back. The time is ticking away now, and Crazy Raccoon are getting some momentum.
Tensai just gets brought down by some of that squeak damage. Another hand to catch the turret that might actually be intentional, believe it or not. Chitampo moves up, hits that super. Lukey goes down. 2 seconds left, and Humble keeps Semantic alive. Get down, Mr. President.
Humble just seem to have the ice in their veins. What a comeback. Beautiful adaptations. And the comparison was a night and day difference. They looked so weak and weary in that first game, not in it at all. Just turn things around to come out victorious in the first set. It's a huge advantage.
I mean, I wonder if Coach Kanan's had much to do with that. They had the Otis laning against Amber on the left side, did Humble, and Semantic was struggling. He was losing hard to Tensai. That all changed as soon as Boss stepped up and stepped into the left lane. All of a sudden, even Chitampo and Pearl couldn't deal with the Otis. And all of a sudden, Semantic took over the game. And this is great when you have multiple viable mid options on gem grab. You can make these adaptations.
That mute there was beautiful from Semantic. It would have put a lot of pressure on Humble to gain that last gem off the mid, and he would have lost the lane as well. I mean, look, when you look at the stats across the board, really, Semantic had a fantastic game, 279 DPS there. 9 takedowns though for Shatampo, but I gotta give a commendable shout out to Boss, because once he swapped to that left-hand side lane, he had to juggle 2 players on the side of Crazy Raccoon, and more often than not, he was holding his own, he was the rock on that left.
This is what we'd love to see. This composure from a team like Humble, who need to make a pretty huge change wholesale to their strategy midway through a set, and they managed to win it for themselves. Let's double back and talk about the penny pick though. For me, that one's a bit of a miss for CR.
It's not my favorite. I've seen many teams kind of try it out and see how things fare, but I've got to be honest, it hasn't got the best win percentage in my opinion along the way. And again, with that Gene pick, you know, I like when I see a magic hand used for that turret. It really is a real problem that once it's taken care of, allows you much more space to maneuver. As we move in now to our second set, Hot Zone. Open business, ban's already in. Kenshi, Clancy, Mo, and the barriers, of course. We saw earlier today just how influential that was for Humble. Crazy Raccoon had to eradicate it. Combined with that Meg, SK Gaming had no opportunity. First pick a Gale, and not a bad one at that.
This is the kind of map is also where Nita makes her appearance at times, or other tanks. I mean, Daryl is still on the table. You can make that work. We've even seen teams try and play Rosa here in the past, despite the lack of bushes. Oh, we got a rowdy crowd today. I like it.
It's the best we've had in Brawl. I've always wanted to hear the crowd over my own voice. And today, and this whole weekend has been that time. It's like a rowdy football match. Surge comes in for Humble. I really do like this as the first Brawler pick. The range is great to have, but it's also a fantastic tank counter. And we've seen in Hot Zone just how influential tanks can realistically be. So if Crazy Raccoon were thinking they've now got to second guess themselves, the melody is still there though. We've seen that from Crazy Raccoon time and time again. Even Semantic himself knows firsthand how difficult it has been to shut down Shatampo when he has that brawler, Byron, coming in for Humble. Great amount of heals, and that's what you need to have. It's all about the objective, and more heals means more time spent on that zone.
We saw Moye on this pick previously, up against Reply Totem, in a composition that didn't even really feature a tank that they were trying to back up. This is the kind of map where, you know, you become a pseudo-thrower when you have that super available, of course, as Byron. So you can shelter behind those walls and flip the fights on their heads with that super. Also, going back to Surge, he has the ability to jump over these barriers. They're thin enough that he can get into a fight and take you by surprise, pop a power shield. I warned you all at the start of this game, Max is where Crazy Raccoon find themselves in their comfort zone. They snapped it up here at pick 2.
Aggression, agility, and speed. Those are the 3 words that I would use to describe Crazy Raccoon. They've already gone in with such a wonder pick. One that has made Tensai famous across the world in Brawl esports history. Definitely a troublesome thing for Humble to be looking at as Larry and Laurie come in as well. I mean, I'm really liking this. You've got the thrower for control. You've got the aggression of that Max to really lend a hand, the hypercharge as well. And Gale is a force to be reckoned with quite literally in this game. Humble better have a trick up their sleeve here, because this is a gnarly comp.
This is a short-range comp for Crazy Raccoon, though. That's one thing worth pointing out. True. Neither Max nor Larry and Laurie can really cover much of the map, and the problem for throwers here on Hot Zone is that they struggle to stand out on the point out in the open. The Frank pick, combined with the Byron, no less. That's a little dirty.
You know what, though? Watching Semantic play Frank earlier today, down the barrel of that Colette and just coming out on top time and time again. I have not seen Frank play this good on a world final stage. If Semantic, who I'm assuming is going to be on that Frank, can bring the same fire that we saw versus SK Gaming in Brawl Ball into Hot Zone versus Crazy Raccoon, I feel like we are going to be in for a massive treat.
Set number 2 will be Hot Zone, and Humble walk in with a 1-0 scoreline. Let's see how they navigate this. With the Frank up against the Gale, and Semantic already cops an absolute beating.
Low HP, forced back. Luki already has super, though, he's been doing work. A nice phase shift there from Tensai to evade certain peril. As now, Crazy Raccoon starts to push forwards. A nice from the left-hand side from Shatampo. Semantic low on 180 HP. He's got to come back a little bit. But Humble have done a good job of staying on that zone early on.
But Moye's able to move up on that left side. That's when Larry and Laurie gets really annoying on this map, when his team has control. Boss, gadget pop there. Doesn't actually have power shield in this particular game. Just wants to try and bank shots off those walls if he can. He's pretty healthy. And of course, with super up, has that invulnerability frame. Luki's done a great job keeping him topped up. Semantic has super here. He can start to break open the map, deny Moye's Safe positioning, and there it is. Break it on open. Semantic now leaves Boss to get that capture percentage.
Hypercharge for Tensai and a nice takedown there, and Boss straight onto the zone. Is a team wipe. And Crazy Raccoon now can get hunkered down. It's going to be a very tough thing to push into a gale with Super as well. And Humble know it. They're going to recollect themselves very quickly and start to whittle down Crazy Raccoon gradually along the way.
You've got to avoid the spawn camp, Peter. He gets a throw out, and you're dealing with a Gale Super. Semantic suffers that. It's a hypercharge, in fact, so it comes in twice, and he cycles it a second time. That is terrifying. Boss still able to step up and fight. Great catch on Tensai. You almost had to, I tell you. Shitapo is low. He's had to be firing this whole time. And there comes a hypercharge super from Semantic. Gets him the one, but Crazy Raccoon already have a distinct lead now.
Boss pushing through with the help of Lukey there with the huge heals out of there, but it's not even enough. A beautiful super there from Shitampo, and now Humble are already stumbling out of control. 84% for Crazy Raccoon, and now another takedown. They're firming him. There's only 10% remaining.
Yeah, the lorry's a problem here. Humble have to deal with that. Boss takes far too much damage on the approach, and Crazy Raccoon bounce back from a slow start.
A solid game under pressure. As Crazy Raccoon start to dig deep. A great comp, one that I feel could very much win this set. But Humble have shown us already today against this very team. They have got adaptations up their sleeve. Well, now they need to start to bring that in to Hot Zone.
Semantic opted to bring a Frank here to a Gale composition. We have to wonder if he's regretting that at all right now. Super up for Semantic. Humble have gotten to 20% capture percentage to Crazy Raccoon's 8. A good lead.
Crazy Raccoon now pushing the speed coming through, but they are falling behind. 37 now, 40% for Humble. And Crazy Raccoon haven't had a single look and pushed back deep into the spawn side now. They've got to regroup. They've got to find themselves yet again and gone back to the first game as Humble playing this far better than before.
Yeah, Shitampo needs to build some supers. He cycled them well last time, but Boss wins his fight on the right. Shitampo gets behind them, but he's stunned up by Semantic Super. And this is a massive lead now for Humble.
It's just, again, it's a night and day difference. I mean, Humble come in, they lose the game, but then they come back like this.
Lord.
8% is all that is there for Crazy Raccoon. They've got to really turn this entire game behind. They just can't do it. Humble are on the zone, 100 to 8. Crazy.
Moye just gadgeted into a Frank hit. He needed the healing, I get it. But he dashes in the direction of Laurie and puts himself in the line of fire.
Can Humble do it again? That's the question.
Mate.
It was a tough first game. I was surprised they were even to make that one look so convincing. They got that early control. And I think that's what it comes down to here. Semantic already tanking like 4 shots there from that Larry and Laurie. It's going to need more than just a couple of hills there from Lukey. Boss in the zone now, popping gadget. Does need, again, that support of Lukey, who's just doing his best to be everywhere in this game.
Much better early pressure here for Crazy Raccoon. Semantic can't play forward right now. Boss, though, wants to try and overwhelm. This is a lane switch here for Crazy Raccoon. And Moye eventually capitulates. The pressure from Lukey from mid was too much, and Semantic brings down the lorry. Boss has been out of his mind on this right side of the map, and Tensai's lucky to be alive after that shot came in. 42% to 9.
What's going on? The aggressive again. He's going to be cautious to not feed too much in there to Shitampo. As then Tensai comes in, lovely face shift, but Boss is still there. He is that rock. Semantic playing ring around the rosy there with Moye on the left-hand side. Laurie going over the fence and does find a kill. But again, Boss is there. 528 HP, but he's still locked in.
How's he alive? Lukey tops him back up, but Humble had to get off of the point for a time. But Semantic's back, and he means business. Tensai face shifts forward, but Boss is able to bring him down. Hypercharge available for 2 Humble players, and Crazy Raccoon are about to run into the wood chipper.
How can you push into 2 hypercharges? Semantic going straight into the eye of the storm. Gets the stun there, Laurie. And Lukey can sit back and relax. Shitamo's going to come in with a lovely super book. Is it going to be realistically enough? There's only 2% remaining. Boss coming back in now. Trying to get that super, trying to get on the zone. And Humble do it. They get the set and place Crazy Raccoon into a perilous position. Semantic there saying, just one more.
Let's have a look back at some of these moments here. Awkward start for Humble. Crazy Raccoon able to get off to the races. Cycling supers from the Gale. Tensai, nigh uncatchable, unkillable in the middle part of the map. But eventually the lane assignment started to swing in Humble's favor. Here you can just see the pressure that Laurie can put down on you, but Boss really activated. Up on that right side, doesn't matter if it was Moye or Stitampo that he had to fight. He took on all challenges and came out on top.
I was so impressed. I really am with Humble. Every time, every set, losing the first game, but learning so immediately, quickly against a team that are absolute masters of Brawl. It's scary stuff. It makes you feel like it could be another EMEA year. We still got plenty more still to go. But for Crazy Raccoon now, they are 2 sets down. How'd you come back from that? They've done it before, but can they do it again?
A reverse sweep in our grand final. That'll be almost too much to imagine. Last pick, Frank, for Semantic. He brings it in, he says, I know there's a Gale here. I know I'm going to be under pressure. I know they have throwers, but Frank just so powerful, can really open up the map. And all of a sudden, when you start to see those supers come through from Semantic, as the masonry starts to be destroyed, that's where Boss can walk up and start to be a real threat. We talked about the short-range nature of this Crazy Raccoon comp. That gets exacerbated when the map gets broken up.
It screams confidence. It says to me, you've got to ban this brawler. You've got to just adapt away from what is just like the hard meta and ban what I know that I can absolutely go to town on you with. He did it in Brawl Ball against SK earlier today, looking at that Colette and saying, I am not worried. He did it again there against the Gale, saying, I'll do it again. And people don't learn. Crazy Raccoon banning the melody can only mean one thing, and that Humble have the coin toss. And this could be a bit of a nail in their own coffin. They would love to have got their hands on that melody pick. They would have certainly snapped it up as a first brawler pick if they hadn't been able to do so in that position. And Colette coming in for Humble, a beautiful first brawler.
Now in the past, in this tournament even, we saw Crazy Raccoon go for a crazy Bonnie pick on Safe Zone. Slightly different map, but a lot of the same principles do apply. Bonnie pretty good at the poke down game, and of course can all in onto a safe and start attacking it up close. No surprise to see Colette here from Humble. It doesn't really tip their hand in any way. It's just a very good brawler. Another brawler that, again, can attack the enemy safe from a relatively safe distance and cycle those supers if any defenders are unlucky enough to get caught in the damage. Lola here, picked up for CR. Just a very, very good mid to long range brawler in terms of that damage output.
We already saw today, against Humble when Joker had 756 DPS damage with the Lola pick, and they still lost. It was crazy. I've never seen that much DPS in my life. Here it works a lot better. I can hear you with that Bonnie pick. Certainly the first thing I look for is to see whether the crew is banned, if that's the idea, and it is banned. It's a possibility here. For Crazy Raccoon, they're going to bring in the Kenji. A dangerous one for sure, and Heist. Is it his best game mode? I'm not massively convinced. I was surprised that Humble actually won that set earlier today with that very brawler. And it's one they cannot snap up now. Certainly, if Boss goes with Colt, I know we're going to be in for such a treat. And no one bans it against Humble. I still don't know why. Every time in Heist, they seem to bring it in, but this time going with the Bell. It's definitely that safe pair of hands. The mark going to be quite influential to land onto the Kenji. But is it going to be enough? It's not the best in DPS.
This is definitely a control-oriented brawler. Humble are assuming if Crazy Raccoon want to try and take up residence in the middle of the map in that grassy area, Boss can actually get some extra value as those shots will bounce between enemy targets that are within close proximity.
Certainly with the Lola, that's their thinking process there, is to simply use that ego and Semantic there maybe indicating about swapping lanes there as well.
The bell shots bounce between Lola and her ego.
Exactly.
8 bits here for Humble. Okay. This is an interesting one. I mean, a few different ways you can take this, but this really does scream to me, we want to set up shop in the middle of the map. We want to just dominate in the control game and then start to use Colette to pressure that safe down, use our safe long range, whether it's extra credits or, war cartridge here from Lukey, or cheat cartridge, excuse me, remains to be seen, but nice way to round out a composition that had maybe questionable levels of damage output. Ah, the old faithful.
If that hypercharged turret lands onto the Humble safe, it will be decimated in seconds. The Jesse pick is a very strong one for Crazy Raccoon, but for Humble, they've just got to not feed into it and do their very best to avoid giving more power over to Crazy Raccoon. Not going to be easy to do with a slow and sluggish 8-bits. And that damage boost of the bouncing shots will go between the two. without the plugged-in star power. We'll see what that 8-bit is bringing to the table. If that's not the case, then it could be even more challenging to avoid feeding into that Jesse.
Okay, it's going to be cheat cartridge here for this 8-bit. Plugged in, also taken as the star power arc. Let's see how these lanes pan out. Shitampo getting kind of pummeled there by Boss. Gotta respect the 8-bit, and there's the damage booster deployed.
Tensai forced back, and now is the heal, but Boss comes in, and look at that! Tapping up so strongly in that right-hand side.
Damage?
Beautiful mark there from Luki. The team play is unreal, and as quickly as that, Humble on the safe.
This is it. The set that Humble need to take to hold the belt aloft. Crazy Raccoon have decent mid-control if they can get there, but they've got to start to win some of these poke battles. Boss is down here. Shitampo's mad his way through finally. Now threatens the safe. Moya has an eco up, but it's spaced back from the Lawless. We need to get quite close to get both shooting at that safe. Big damage here for Crazy Raccoon. And now they'll get ahead.
A lovely lineup there for Semantic to really line up the turret and some extra damage on that left-hand side. It made for a good defense, but it has pushed Crazy Raccoon into a small lead. Tampo forcing that left-hand side, but a nice mark hypercharge there from Luki, and Semantic staying firm in position, looking to try to earn that hypercharge, of course. If he gets down to the safe, it'll be devastating. Tensai has hits. That's a huge concern for Humble. I think he'll be so cautious now on defense.
But this is what we talked about. Set up shop in mid-arc and be immovable. Crazy Raccoon haven't been able to unseat Humble from this part of the map. Boss is able to fall back. Semantic helps him bring Shitampo down. Crazy Raccoon to 51% on their safe. Tensai's got to dodge a whole lot of these shots. Luki does fall, but here's some free damage for Semantic.
Goes in, uses it onto Moya. Not the greatest of connections, let's be honest, but enough damage to give themselves a little bit of a cushioning as we approach the 30-second mark, and Luki is staying so strong on this left-hand side, bouncing his time between that mid, but Shitampo now lurking forwards, marked up immediately. The accuracy of Humble is great, but now CL can collect themselves and go in for a push.
Playing around that damage booster now. Boss obviously wants to make sure he benefits from speed, and we're switching into a defensive stance here for Humble. They want to try and pressure Crazy Raccoon down before they think to come forward. Mark on Shitampo, Tensai over to star power. Scrappy's hitting hard, 49%, it's getting low. Moya in a present. Ah! There it is!
Semantic!
3 seconds!
He's got it!
Gets humbled around the solo mission onto the safe with the Colette Super. And Humble are 1 game away.
The crowd is electric. Coming into this set, Semantic said 1 more set. And now it's 1 more game to take home the gold. Already a swift eradication of Tensai there as Shitampo and Moya left all alone. And these marks from Luki, we gotta talk about them. They're landing every single time on that Kenji, time and time again. And that is the thorn in the side of Crazy Raccoon.
Have we ever seen a debut from a rookie on the world stage like this? He has been incredible over the course of the weekend. Semantic though, it's a whiff off that super. Still shielded up enough. Moya definitely has to respect this. Has to watch out for the bouncing damage from Luki. Tensai struggling against the 8-bit. Takes the tap and Boss finishes the job. Shitampo also quite low here. Luki playing from inside that damage booster means the Bell is a legitimate threat. Another ego that's going to be short-lived as Moya has to throw them so far away from himself.
It's just a matter of time before Boss will pick him up. Semantic as well, turret into the mid for Tensai. You need to be saving that ready for the safe. Semantic now just going to use that onto the 3 shots that he's able to obtain. Gets the 10%, gives Humble a small lead.
It's a narrow one, 6% here. Crazy Raccoon starting to posture towards Humble's safe. Boss is down, Moya's a problem here. Has another super available, so the damage output will be dastardly. Semantic just wants to play around the wall here. Boss back off respawn, but the Kenji in the left is a problem.
Tensai has got hypercharge as well, but Luki finds it.
He's
gets
down.
the follow-up as well. The taps are on point, and now Boss coming forwards there. Not going to be popping Gadget just yet. Wants to reserve it slightly.
They're ignoring
Remember,
him.
Shitampo is on the safe. He is marked up, and he is getting consistent damage in for Crazy Raccoon.
Crazy Raccoon are ahead now. The Kenji gets to have his way with the safe and brings Luki down. Humble have got to respond. Super there from Semantic onto the safe for Crazy Raccoon. A slim lead here for Humble. Luki has a second bite at the apple. Still trying to get this Kenji out of the way. It's even at 67 apiece.
A nice takedown there from Boss, and he kept his own life in the process. Not an easy thing to do there, as Semantic was low himself and couldn't necessarily tank. Good taps to the left-hand side. Moye low now, forcing out the ego, but the ego goes down so quickly. Great mark again from Luki, popping the hypercharge, and they secure the right side of 10
Here
side.
we go.
Semantic going in, nice hypercharge and some great damage along the way. The time is ticking.
11 seconds left in the game. Sitampo has to go for a super to dodge the shot, but Boss is going to be there at 10 side with a hyper. No turret to use. Humble, 50%. Crazy Raccoon have fallen short. And here we have 3 Humble guys who just happened to be the best Brawl Stars team in the world.
Unbelievable! Such a phenomenal performance from Humble this year. Just unreal. The fist pumps and the respect. A wonderful performance. Staying modest keeps you grounded, but being victorious cements a legacy. As they approach the belt to lift it, and Humble are your Brawl Stars World Champions!
Finally, Semantic has his day. From humble beginnings to glorious ends. That's been the story of this team. Formed for one purpose, to achieve greatness. And we've got to hear it from the boys themselves. Let's head down to the stage, get some words from your world champions.
Semantic, Luki, Boss. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise one more time for Humble! Looks great on you, Semantic. How are you feeling, buddy? Try to put into words the emotions that you're feeling right now in the Superfest arena.
Any emotion you can think of, it's coming to my mind. Happiness, all the energy we put in this year, it's all paying off. Finally, new roster this year with Boss insane, Luki insane, Kennen insane, whole Humble insane. Everything's just coming together. It worked out, and I'm almost crying. It's so nice.
It's great to see the emotion. We can tell how much it means to you. The crowd are absolutely loving it. You had such a great reception. Luki's first Worlds as well. And you kind of had a bit of a situation at Worlds. You were having a tough time. And it feels like the curse has lifted, right?
Yes, I was used to known to literally not win a single Worlds match and have a second place curse. I broke both of them. I got off group stage, I got off quarterfinals, and I won the World Final!
Now, as we can all hear, both at home and right here in the arena, the support has been overwhelming. The fans have been absolutely brilliant throughout this entire weekend of competition. Is there anything that you guys would like to say to them?
Thank you to every single supporter right now on the stage. Wherever you're watching, to everything. Not only this year, the years before, the one before that, before that. I love you all. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you.
Just one more thing. One final thing before I let you go. $400,000. Yeah, I know. Did you forget about that one? The Brawl Stars World Championship belt. And also, Semantic has been voted MVP of the Brawl Stars World Finals! You've all done amazing. You've all done absolutely phenomenally. And thank you so much. Congratulations one more time. We're going to get you to lift that championship belt one final time. Ladies and gentlemen, for the last time at the Brawl Stars World Finals, your champions, Humble! Thank you so much to everyone for watching and for being right here at Superfest as well. It's been absolutely amazing to be a part of. To all the players, thank you so much for all your hard work. Please come back next year and come back stronger. To the talent, you are all absolutely brilliant to work with. Thank you so much for all your hard work. Production and set design have been fantastic throughout as well. Thank you so much. And there's nothing really left to say here, but that is it from us here at Superfest. My name is Banks, and we'll see you very, very soon.